All right, welcome guys. This is a massive session today. Big shout out to Sirenscape for their awesome backing track that we're using. Um, I hope you enjoy all the cow noises and etc. Um, I am going to let you guys describe to me what you are doing first. I'll call on you sort of one at a time. I'll just bring up that plateau map and put you guys all on it. I've already got you all in the combat tracker, etc.
Jesus.
And I found a really easy way to drop you onto the map, which is fun. So let's go. Bloop. There you go. You just kind of have to move yourselves, but you can definitely do so. I love that Uthar just landed right in the middle of the tent. Um, cool. So let's start off our day. Does everyone claim their character on Fantasy Grounds, by the way?
I'm just logging in, so.
Yeah, cool, cool, cool. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Should have 3 more. So I'm missing Grisham. I'm missing Uthar. Yep. And who else am I missing? Rakro. He's not here yet. Oh well. He might be missing out by the looks of it.
But who's gonna hit 20s for us?
I know, right? And he got that cool doll. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Still missing one. Who am I missing? I feel like I'm. It was Grisham. Cool. Alright. So you guys are chilling out in the Adventurers Guild. It's a very busy day at the Adventurers Guild. Everyone's finally not hungover or doing their own thing. You wake up and it's an incredibly full tent. It smells. Let's describe it as dank and sweaty.
Heavy.
It's
Misty.
heady. It's a heady musk, I would say. Um, we're gonna start with Uther. What would you be doing this fine morning?
What is it? We're waking up?
Yep, you're just waking up.
Yeah, well, he does his little stretches in the nud. And then maybe puts some clothes on depending on how he's feeling and makes a pot of tea.
This old naked man just like standing doing his poses.
No.
And he starts just like sipping tea. Yeah. Oh, okay. I got the poses wrong. I apologize. Next up, Store. What would you up to? What would you be up to, Store?
Probably drinking whatever, just some random beverage. Nothing alcoholic, but something with a little bit of flavor. The equivalent of Kool-Aid, essentially.
No worries. Yeah.
What is Kool-Aid?
A sweet tea type thing. It's like the cordial, I think, dude. um, and Vic, what would you be doing? No worries. And Grisham, what would you be up to?
Grisham is preparing some breakfast. So he just fried up some eggs. And he's just shoveling. Doesn't believe in
Beautiful.
cutlery at all.
Is he sharing or?
Not as yet, unless someone indicates some kind of interest in his breakfast.
Say Grisham's just plowing away, like eating on some eggs. Sobek, what about you? What would you be up to?
Like sheepishly trying to get the carpet to come up with just a "it's a whole new world," like try to be really quiet and sheepish with it, just trying to like, come on.
You see, like in the corner, Sobek's talking to his like new carpet, and it doesn't seem to be responding to him. You get the indication that it needs to be louder.
He'll just kind of keep trying that. If everyone's around, he'll just kind of keep sheepishly like, come on, buddy, I need you.
Fair enough. He's talking to his carpet. Isaac, what would you be up to?
So he's standing over a basin of water. He washes his face with his hands. And then he just kind of hangs over it, staring at his reflection.
No worries.
There will my reflection.
He's having an existential crisis.
I thought we were
Alex.
worried about. I thought we were worried about copyright before. Is that not a thing?
And now we're just going off to Disney.
Alex,
God,
what would you be up to
insane.
this morning?
It's like Voldemort. If you say it, it summons them.
I'm going to be practicing throwing little pebbles into my chalice at a distance.
No worries. So Alex has woken up and she's put down like her very elaborate like golden encrusted chalice like on the ground, and she's just throwing little pebbles like blunk, blunk. And you throw about 3, and then you finally get one in, and you sort of like cheer. All right. So as you guys are limbering up, getting ready for the day, a short man with a pair of spectacles that appear to be warded, and like a little vest and a long sleeve shirt. He's sort of runs up to the tent and he goes, "The council have requested you. You must meet with them immediately."
Hold on, can I pause for a second?
Yep.
Because if you skipped me and I had a whole thing planned.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Nerd.
So
What? I mustn't have you on the map. I mustn't have you on the...
no, I'm just way off to the right for a reason.
Okay. Because I was looking at the tent, and I went around the tent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Gotcha. Norin,
so
what would you like to do?
since the night after our last session with me, Isaac, and Sobek, the following morning I pretty much packed my stuff up from the tent and got, since now I have my own personal tent, I've set up my own little tent over here by this rock over
Alright.
here, and that's where I'm staying now.
No worries. Norin's kind of like set up on his own. He's doing his own thing. I actually had something for you, Norin.
Was it the tent?
Find it. It was a bit of a map booster pack that you would have access to. If I can find where in the heck I put it. There you go. I'll just chuck it to you on Discord real quick.
Okay.
Battle bid.
That's me.
There you go. Okay, so this fastidious little man, he comes in and he essentially exclaims that the council want to meet up with you as soon as possible. What would you guys like to do?
Where would they like to meet us at?
They've heard of your plans to meet with a druid faction that was previously unknown to them. They are quite alarmed.
I look over at Vic and just expectantly.
Yeah, let's do it. Grisham says meet with council.
So you guys walk into town. You recognize the like opulent council tent as being the place that would be most likely to be their current place of residence. You walk up and there's a wooden soldier and a mountain spear on both sides of the tent. You know, they allow you into quite an opulent antechamber where the same steward who had rushed back to his post sort of gives you a head nod, appreciating your swiftness in meeting with the council. He goes, "They shall be ready for you in perhaps an hour or so."
Are you fucking kidding me? They just power move us.
They would you guys like to do anything while you wait?
Grissom would like to passive aggressively sharpen a knife with a.
All right, no worries. Grisham's just like he's just giving like staring daggers at the retainer, I'll call him, as he after make an intimidation check for me.
Hey!
He's sort of like it's about like 10-15 minutes. He's just staring at you, and he goes, I shall see if they can meet you sooner. And he disappears off into the other room.
Nice.
And shortly afterwards, you're beckoned through to meet with the council.
Power
You
moves.
you step through into, so they guide you in like through a series of like passages in this quite massive tent, and you eventually find yourself standing before these like raised platforms. There's like about 5 seats that are behind like a railing, and they all essentially there are 5 council members, and they're all looking down at you. They're sitting around you. Yeah,
Store
good stuff.
bows.
No worries. I'm just going to share some images with you guys of what the counselors look like. I'll introduce them one by one, and I'll introduce them with some information about them because you do know a little bit about these council members, as you have been in the camp. You were part of the expedition that sort of went off, so they're not completely unknown to you. I'll start with Dama Alevrak. So he is dragonborn. He would be wearing a white turban, white robes. He has a mask which he would be pulled up during the night. He sort of glances down his nose at you guys, and then kind of looks away dismissively. Next up, we have Corporal Cutter. He is otherwise known as Evan Cutter. He is of the Hollowers. He gives you a welcoming, like, hail adventurers. Next is Wardmaster Jared. He is of the Milnese. He's an expert at warding, and he previously has been in charge of a guild back in Milne, but chose to join upon the adventurers in a position of authority. Again, he kind of he's just reading a book. He doesn't actually sort of look up as you enter. He's just reading a book like in front of him. Then some of you have met her previously, and I'm going to apologize in advance for the images. Like finding fantasy art for any sort of characters, they're all automatically roll 20 on their attractiveness.
They're great.
So Sylvie Fisher is a little bit less attractive than displayed in this image, but she would be wearing quite fine clothing. She would have jewels about her. She's more of a middle-aged, like handsome lady, but not particularly like as striking as this one. But let's say that she is. Let's go with it. She glances over at Vic and Isaac and gives them like a head nod.
I nod back. Return the gesture.
She goes. She looks at Isaac in particular and says, "That enchanted halberd you sent me fetched quite a price at market. We should do business again sometime."
I'm not against it.
And last but not least, you have Jaren Goldentongue, or Courtier Jaren, and he is from Angiers. He is a bit of an adult. He's a little bit hedonistic from what you hear of his reputation, but he can get down to business when he needs to. He goes, welcome, adventurers! A pleasure to see you this morning. So I'm just gonna bring all those images up. Okay. So,
Am I related to
see-
the other Cutter?
no.
No. Oh,
Cutter is
sad face.
Cutter's a very common surname in
It's the Smith.
Cutter's Hollow. Yeah, it's like having a surname that reflects like your profession or previous profession is very common in the Thiessen world. Okay, so Jiren sort of stands at his dais and looks down upon you and says, "Well, I think the council agrees that I can lead proceedings here. I'm generally the most well respected," and he sort of like gives them an eye wink, and they kind of roll their eyes at him. We would like to know more about this druidic faction. They sound fascinating. Who would like to speak on your behalf?
I will.
Very well, and he looks right down at you.
Looks straight down, pretty much. I'll step forward. We were doing the camp a favor and scouting out local areas. Or I had heard reports that there was some fur bulk that had pointed to an area where there had settled or something of that sort of regard. So
And
he,
what on earth is a furbolg? It sounds like a fascinating creature.
that is what you guys said, right?
He said druidic.
No, not him. Last week.
Oh, okay.
Because I wasn't there for the session where the
No,
camp was there.
That is what they call it. Yes.
Okay. Would I assume I would know what they are, right?
Yeah, the rest of your adventuring party would have described them to you at some point.
Yeah, I'll just give him the basic description.
And he goes, fascinating. They sound like fearsome beasts. Go on, I didn't mean to interrupt.
These druids have a well, first I should lead with they do not mean harm. The only harm they will bring is if you begin it. You people with your excavation of this world. And they have
He looks at you at that comment, and he's like, and how do you know they mean no harm?
Because we've spoken to what seems to be I don't want to say their leader, but that's sort of the air that they gave off.
And what is it that they do want?
Peace and tranquility. You know, druids.
So they simply wish to be in peace? Why is it that they would have spoken with you? What is it that we can offer them?
Well, it's not that they sought us out. We sort of stumbled into their abode.
So they wish nothing of us. Would they have anything to offer us?
Well, that's something that we're hoping to iron out today.
Very well. I shall move to my next question. We're concerned about you adventurers being the ones to bridge negotiations between the two factions. And you see a couple of the other council members like nod and sort of, lean into their one, Wardmaster Jaren. He sort of sits forward. He's put his book down at this point, and he sort of leans forward. He's listening raptly. What is it that you plan to gain as adventurers out of this? I mean, I suppose he just asked that. Why shouldn't we be the ones to make contact with them?
Well, at the very least, probably the best representative in this entire camp is myself. I spent the last, pretty much since you guys have gotten here, in the company of you, but I'm from here.
Exactly where are you from, young man? And he looks down at you. It sort of assumes that you're a very young person.
Kind of job.
I'll try and sound like as venerable as I can and say, when you need to know, I'll let you know.
The council sort of start muttering to them between themselves at this point. We do not like having unknown entities within our camp. That leads me to my next question on behalf of the council. What is the recruitment policies of this Adventurers Guild? Do you just let any vagabond from the street, and he sort of glances up and down at you, be part of these mercenaries?
Grisham steps forth at this point, hearing this question, and sort of crosses his hands as neatly as he can in front of him, and he goes, "We have very stringent admission test / screening process. Very complicated, hard to explain, but."
And did Vic want to add something here? Sorry. There you go. Okay, yep. I saw your red pony in the chat, sorry. So Jiren has
can I-
like just before you do,
I just want-
as Grisham stepped forward, Jiren sort of looked him up and down and sort of like had a double take at this like huge like half orc, the only half orc in the camp. And was just like, "Oh, it speaks. I see. Well, it's better than what we expected, to be honest. We thought you were just taking randoms in off the street. There didn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to it. We have been watching you, of course." And
Can I, at this point, I just turn to Alex and like just elbowing, be like, "Found you in a bush," but like only between us, like not for the council.
Just thinking that myself. Stringent. Yeah.
He goes, "The council recommends that in future you seek out permission in your recruiting, especially were you to recruit from the staff of the camp. And any outsiders that you bring in, we expect that they are vetted by our council approval. Uh, this is an expectation that we wish you to adhere to. Does this
Can
sound
I-
reasonable?"
Can I step in for a moment?
Mm-hmm.
So let me get this straight. I'm talking to like all of them. You are hiring an outside party, maybe not outside party, but you're hiring a group of people to do tasks for you. But now you want full control over who is a part of that party. Do I have that
Full
correct?
control. We didn't ask for full control. There will be a level of autonomy that is unique only to the Adventurers Guild. However, we will not allow strangers, and he sort of lets his eyes drift, and as he says strangers, he brings them back and looks almost directly at Norin, to enter the camp without our say-so. At this point, the Dharma, a Levrak, clears his throat. A blood sample would be more than useful for my Dharma Ting. She could use this to cast the dice and determine the quality of recruits. We would be amenable to this compromise. And the blood sample, as you previously said. Okay, and Jiren at this point says, "Oh, yep. So Store wants to speak up."
No, that was just more of like a preemptive, like when we get out of here, I have something to say.
Oh, yeah, no worries. Isaac, did you want to speak up?
This is at Ali Varak. What do you plan to do with their blood?
As I said, the Damating will use it to roll their futures.
Isaac just like looks skeptical, and then that's all he has to say.
No worries. Jiren says, "Very well. This sounds like we have reached an accord. And so, moving on to our next step. And let me just preface this with, so far, the Adventurers Guild have performed admirably. There was, of course, the matter of the giant in the route of our trade caravans that you were able to reach negotiations with, which, let me say, we were quite frankly very surprised, but Nonetheless, we have had no further issues, and I must say we are grateful. Um, Having said that, though, we would like to know who holds you accountable. Is there a set of rules laid out in your charter? I assume you have a charter. Don't all speak up at once, people.
I think that
Cushion
answers
steps
the
forward
question.
again. Sorry, Cushion steps
The-
forward again.
Yep.
Gone. Cushion
There you
steps
go.
forward again and he's like, "We are a collective, and we reach decisions unanimously, or we have a discussion until the problem is resolved." Jesus.
So, for example, if one of your members were to commit murder in the camp, you would then reach a unanimous decision with including said murderer. Let me say that this concerns us. Vic, go ahead.
It's not a fully fleshed out system yet, but we deal with incidents on case by case basis, using best judgment.
Vic, did you have something to say here? Everyone sort of just glances at Vic. The council is even just like eye raised, like eyebrows raised.
Isaac has a disgusted look on his face.
All right, and Store, what did you want to say?
I step forward and say, well, in a matter such as a murder, someone who murdered someone in the camp, we would obviously involve the camp in such a matter. But that's kind of an oblivious question because you would just come in and take him anyways, wouldn't you?
We most certainly would step in, but we would like to be on the same page about you involving us were it to become necessary. Our wooden soldiers and our mounted spears are a fine military force, not to mention the Sharum, but we cannot act if it is not brought to our attention.
Well, let's just keep it simple. If it's an internal matter with the Adventurers Guild, it's an internal matter. But if it's a matter that involves the camp, we will surely bring it up with you.
Nevertheless, we would very much appreciate a charter or some sort of guidelines laid out and shared with us so that we are not strangers to the Adventurers Guild. We understand them. Artha was next. Oh, sorry, Norum was next. You didn't
No,
want to now?
you beat me to it.
Cool. Uther?
So I think Uther kind of steps forward and says, if you are dictating the way that we run our guild and you will have representation from the other factions, I believe it only fair if our guild has a representation on your council.
You see the council murmuring between themselves, like heads together.
I
And
second that.
Jiren says, perhaps when you have proven yourself a bit more worthy, we will have to discuss this. May we take a brief interval? You may discuss amongst yourselves while we discuss too. So you guys can like chat freely if you want. Grisham wants to speak up. Let's just say the council step away for a brief moment, and they are discussing this idea. But you guys can speak amongst yourselves.
Yeah,
What were you
Grizz
gonna
wanted
say,
to say, what if they sent a delegate or representative to us who could come with and deal with problems? Make them
I
deal
feel
with
like
issues. Make them deal
like
with paperwork.
they're that's fair. I feel like their apprehensiveness, yes, towards Norin is, their visible. I don't want to say disdain towards him, but caution, I guess, is concerning in the way that they may not be on our side if things So if we would have somebody on the council, it may sway them into accepting outside help, because we are in a new area. It's pretty callous not to accept help or knowledge from people like Norin who have lived here.
It seems like they have an us versus them mentality, as in them in the camp
Yeah.
versus everyone around them. So if they're just
Yeah,
gonna
well,
start
we need to
like
use
trying
the
to,
knowledge that we can get,
Mm.
seeing as we are
Yeah.
completely new in this area.
Since the DM died, I think Vic is next.
I wouldn't be worried about them turning on us, but like Uthar said, why don't we just get a representation from the council, and then they can, if they want a seat, the druids want a seat on the council, then they can fight for it themselves. No need for us to get involved in their affairs.
At this point, the council, no one else had a red pony, did they?
I did. I hadn't gotten to my point yet.
Yep. Sorry, keep going.
If we do decide to send one of us onto their council, I think it would be either in the best interest or the worst interest for me to be on the council as a representative of the Adventurers Guild. What say ye?
Up for negotiation.
Sobek will put himself forth.
Anyone else?
My only concern with Sobek is the creations do not view him so highly. You know how noble men can be.
Norin,
The creations are only
being
one.
Arguably the most powerful.
It depends what you consider power.
Military presence.
I think Uther would put his hand up to be on the council.
With our friendship with the Crasians, would that kind of get me some sway back with them? I wouldn't be of Crasian culture, but as an adventurer, do we all have the that friendship bond with the Crasians?
I'd say it would, like, if you were to become a bit more ingratiated with the Crasians as like a group, it would probably help Sobek standing among them. But I'd say for now, they'd still probably not fully respect you, as you don't follow their structure of their culture and their caste system. Okay, so the council comes back around and says, "We have considered, and although we will not allow a member of the council, or a member of your Adventurers Guild to become a sixth council member, as that is far too much power for the influence you hold here, we would be amenable to having you input your opinions into our decisions. The council agrees that the adventurers should have some say, and perhaps we will let you know of our decisions, and you will have your input via writing in terms of what you want." Go ahead, Nord. I rambled there, but you got the idea.
Yeah. So, for clarification purposes, this isn't to you, Olmec. This is to the council.
Yep.
For clarification purposes, how is it that you five come to an agreement? Is it via democratic vote? Is it via trading, or what?
The council votes on all decisions. We have many heated discussions, and he looks at Dama Alevrak in particular. But in general, if we do not reach a consensus, we will go with a majority vote of the five of us. And go for it, Store.
Were you done, Norin?
Well, I did have one follow-up thing.
All right, he can go first.
So you've already said we have a fair amount of power within in the camp and whatnot. It sounds perfectly reasonable for one of us to be on the council then. There's no point in us sending messages and whatnot just to voice our opinions. That sounds like what the council is meant to do for each faction.
As an outsider, I could see why you might not have the greatest perspective, but you surely cannot consider you 9, 10 adventurers to be equal to one of our factions with hundreds of followers. I mean, you must be reasonable.
All right. Well, I'll let Store go in next.
I put my hand on Norin's shoulder and I say, "Forgive my friend, but regarding our seat and our opinion, how much power do we sway, and what choices are you gonna allow us to put our opinion in?"
Well, I suppose the acquisition of new resources, we may even refer to you for diplomatic relations, as it has been pointed out to us, have explored more of the region than us who have been focused solely on the Chaos Rift. We would weigh in on things that would be applicable. Perhaps when we are deciding what to bring from Thesa when eventually we do establish contact. Did you have something you wanted to say, Sobek?
Vic is next.
Yeah, I was gonna say Vix first.
Sorry, Vic, go.
Sobek will walk up pretty much right in front of Sylvie, talking to the whole group, but kind of keeping eye contact with Sylvie. We would not require a full vote, perhaps a temporary period where we are on the council, but no power to work out the power struggle. Basically to work out how they feel about us. It would be most profitable for us all. And as I'm trying to be super persuasive to Sylvie. I'm gonna tip my hat, milady.
Okay. Let me just read that effect.
You sly dog.
Did you have something you wanted to say in the meantime, Alex?
Yeah. I was just wondering, what council member represents the natives of this land?
Are you asking the council this?
Yes, because they said that they each represent, I think, a race or a town. They said, who are you as 10 people to be versus our 100 or so?
So I'm just gonna resolve Sobek's question first, and we'll come back to that because it's a good question. I can't find the item that is in question here, Sobek. What do
It's
we
like
have it down as again?
close to the top. Magical item, Trilby of Resplendence.
Gotcha. Thank you. Okay, so no worries, and you can make a persuasion check for me, and I'll factor in that item. And just remind me quickly, what was your argument again?
That we would take a learner's role on the council. We wouldn't have full vote. What's the
Internship.
An apprenticeship? Yeah, thank you. Basically that to the council, and that I'm trying to kind of sway myself onto that through Sylvie.
So Sylvie sort of looks away coyly and then looks back at you and bats her eyes a little bit and says, perhaps we could include this one in not a voting role, but Perhaps you could be present for some of our decisions whilst we are deciding the breadth of this Adventurers Guild's position amongst us. Certainly he has my vote, and she sort of again just bats her eyes at you.
He'll wink back.
Getting lucky tonight.
The rest of the council kind of looks at her in surprise. She's obviously usually a bit more muted than this, or like a bit more, a little more guarded, I'd say. So it's an unusual statement to come out of her mouth, and they seem a little off put by it. That's when Alex steps up and talks about the native vote. We see your point, but you must understand that so far our interactions with the native, as you put them, are this young gentleman, and they refer to Naren, and depending on how your negotiations go, this faction of furbolgs, as you described them. That is
Don't
not
forget
enough.
the giant.
Well, I think we both know Barry serves his own needs, and probably does not need council representation, if we're being honest. It's enough that we have not hunted him down.
But an asset if we were to use him.
I see the point. Even so, I don't expect that we would take that course of action just yet, but we may factor it in for future negotiations. Store, what did you want to say?
Never mind. Actually, I need a second to collect my thoughts one more time.
No worries.
I
Vic,
had a thought.
yeah. Yep. We don't intend to hunt down Barry, let me clarify. But just because Barry ambushed some of our some of our cabinet guard on the road, does not mean that he has seen our full might. And you see Corporal Carter crack his knuckles. Next up, we had Uther. What did you want to say?
So it goes, with all due respect, there is something affecting this forest. And if we don't use the tools at our disposal, being the people that live here and know the land, and the risks that are involved in exploring these lands, we are doing ourselves a disservice.
Norrin, did you want to pipe in with something before I respond?
Yeah. In regards to the corruption and this impending meeting with the druids they really fuck, how do I word this? Their primary concern currently is this corruption. Making allies with them, at the very least, to take out this would be a great benefit to everyone involved.
The council is in accords. We agree with both of you that the druids may very well be valuable allies. Hence why we have decided to send a very charismatic representative along with you, and he refers to himself. I will be there to secure negotiations when you meet with the druids. Don't you worry. However, we do not yet see them needing a seat on the council, as was stated earlier. Alex, did you want to pipe out with something?
Oh, I just wanted to say, well, if we show up to the druids and they ask, oh, who part of this native land is on the council, and we say, oh, no one, we got no one from these lands, how well is that going to go on with the druids? It's probably not a good first step forward. Shows we don't really take them seriously or anyone else here.
Counter argument. Wouldn't it be fantastic if, shortly after establishing bonds with them, we were to instate a native representative on the council?
Touche.
Regardless, it sounds as though we are more or less on the same page. We want the same things, adventurers. Is there anything that you, as a group, want from us?
Yeah, Grisham steps forward again.
Yep.
Chris realizes that the purpose of this camp here is to harvest the chaos magic mine. But you would agree that the Adventurers Guild presence here provides some measure of protection to the camp, and we deal with problems case by case basis, but as they come up. You would agree?
At this, Jared, we'll say that Wardmaster Jared scoffs and says, "Without wardings and the weapons of my mountain spears, I hardly think that your protections are necessary. Not to mention the well-respected wooden soldiers," and he nods to Evan Cutter, who nods back to him.
Perhaps we will have this conversation again next time you come crying to us for help.
Evan, pushes himself to his feet and says, "You will be respectful of the council, or I will beat some sense into you, young orc."
Grisham has a big smile on his face, but he says, with all due respect, council member.
He cracks his knuckles again and sort of sits down. He's a hulking barbarian of a woodcutter, and he sort of fills out the chair in a massive way compared to the rest of them. Did we have a red pony from where did we get to?
Store is next.
Store want to speak up?
Yes. So besides the chaos mines, is that your only intentions, or should we be preparing for a worst outcome, so to speak?
What do you mean by worst outcome?
I just want to make sure that we're not going to, let's say, impose our beliefs onto the land in any way.
Jiren looks over at Damar Levrak and says, "With the treaty in place in Thesa, there should not be any further imposition of any faction's beliefs. We ourselves are of multiple faiths. Surely we can accommodate others who have different views to ourselves."
Or you could just, you know what? Forgive me. It's not my place to speak. And I give Evan a nod and go to the back of the group and just kind of hide behind everybody as best I can.
No worries. Sobek was next.
I wanted to try and just chat up Sylvie, kind of keeping her attention away from just the talking. She's just kind of, "So what do you do?" And just using prestidigitation to make little sparkles on the table as I'm tapping my finger, just keeping her attention on me.
She seems pretty enchanted by you. Your check before still holds. She's sort of leaning on her she's sort of leaning on her palm she gives you a little giggle from across the room.
I'll ask if she has any free time after this.
So Wardmaster Jared sort of looks at Sylvie and then looks back at you and just surely this isn't the time nor the place for such matters. I expect more professionalism from you, Trademaster Sylvie. And she sort of picks herself up and she's like, "Oh, my apologies, I don't know what came over me." And then you see her sort of subtly nod to you, Sobek, and be like, "Meet me afterwards."
Sobek will kind of go back to the group and just kind of agree.
No worries. With Wardmaster just shakes his head. Alex was next.
As an internal question, do we get paid by these guys? Do they give us anything for?
That's what Grisham was getting.
They give you contracts. They do post
Okay.
contracts on a board that you fulfill for gold at times.
So
That's the intention. Yep.
Is there a contract already in place for this whole Druids expedition to establish relations?
Not really, no.
No. Well, yeah. Can I ask them if council members can we get a contract drawn up for this expedition to establish positive relations with the Druids? We need supplies to be able to carry out a mission such as this.
The council can approve a small stipend for each of you to be able to cover travel costs and food. Is this amenable? Surely the prestige of being the first to establish contact with a new faction is reward in and of itself, as well.
It is, and your generosity is also appreciated.
Very well. We shall have the steward draw up, let's say, 20 gold for each of you embarking upon this journey.
Thank you.
That should most comfortably cover your costs.
Do you want us to go ahead and add that gold?
Yeah, if you'd like to, just add that gold right now so that we don't forget.
I kind of
now. Yep.
I kind of just pipe up and say, are you only coming with us, council member, or are you going to have a dispatch with you? Just so I know how on guard we need to be to protect you.
I shall, of course, have a elite wooden soldier at my side.
Just one?
He shall be enough.
It's very dangerous out there, sir. I just want you to know that.
I can take care of myself. And you see him he sort of gestures in the air, and a lute appears in his hands, and he plays a power chord, and you see a magical wave ripple out.
Are bards this is more of a me to you question. So I never understood bards in DM in Dungeons and Dragons. Is it really obvious magic, their magic comes from music? Is that understood that way?
Their class or
their magic kind of comes from their art. Some bards.
Yeah, it can be poetry and stuff.
Yeah, it's more like a power that comes from creation, if that makes sense, of creativity. It's just a different way of channeling their art.
I just didn't know if Store was gonna understand this. Was gonna understand
jazz hands and cast burning hands.
Yes, and they would, and just so you guys are aware, bards would be junglers in this world. That's what they would be referred to as. No one would know what a bard is.
What does that mean?
Junglers. It's it's sort of they're kind of like a jester figure. They they act as messengers between for royals and that sort of thing, as well as performing for people on the street, and so they're somewhat respected. They're quite well respected, and they're used to traveling. Because they did travel prior to the demons being killed.
So after he plays his little tune, I give a light clap and then just kind of sit back or stand there.
No worries. Now, is there anything else we can do for you today, adventurers? This has been a good start to negotiations. Very well. Yep.
How important is our Adventurers Guild? I don't know how to word this. The permanent setup thing. The house they're building us, essentially.
How important is the structure they're constructing?
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
He sort of gets what you're saying. You stumble across your sentence. You do have quite low intelligence. But he goes, we assure you it's of the utmost importance. We do wish you to be comfortably lodged in your time here. We know that you do risk yourselves out there. We appreciate your efforts.
Is he being a dick right now?
Insight check.
Yeah, You said insight?
Yeah, insight. That's to determine his sincerity.
I'm oblivious.
You're not sure? And actually, those ones should probably be in the dice tower. Now I think about it, insight checks and like persuasion checks. That's fine. Cool. So Vic wanted to say something, correct? Well, the expedition has been wildly successful in its efforts to acquire magical resources for Thesa, and as a result, we do plan to establish a very permanent presence upon the plateau. If the Adventurers Guild continues to be useful to us, we see no reason as to not continue its existence. He nods in respect. Okay. Well, if there is nothing else, adventurers, we shall dismiss you, and we have much to discuss. I will accompany you. I believe there was a limitation of full moon. We perhaps should have. Let's say that I moved the day to like just before full moon, but we'll say that it's probably more like a week until full moon. So he's going to say now. I believe if we want to make the druidic town by full moon, we will need to leave soon, shall we not? It's 5 days travel, from what I understand.
Let's leave now then.
So we're not going to use the stone. That's what I'm gathering.
This guy doesn't know about the stone.
No, I know. Like I'm asking you. Like if you've said it ahead of time.
Well, if he doesn't know about the stone, so he's going to assume that you need time. If you
Right,
want
but
to tell
didn't you
him about
just
it,
say it's like a while before the full moon? Did you say it's like a week before the full moon?
you guys could like choose to wait until then, and we wouldn't have to play out that time if you guys want. Just out of game talk.
I vote we
Or
don't
it
use
would
it.
I agree.
That full week, could Sobek have been like trying to court Sylvie?
Well, if it's a full week, then you guys will need to leave like today.
Oh, are we like?
Oh, this is retcon.
Okay.
Yes. So if you want, you can get there pretty well instantly with the stone that the Furbolgs provided with you for that purpose. But he doesn't know about that stone, so he assumes that it's going to be a slog getting there.
So it's whether we want to keep that a secret or not from him.
Should we put up for a vote with the new voting mechanism?
Yes, let's use the voting mechanism. So I'll do a vote for you guys.
Oh, so once we got there to the druid town, the I don't remember his name. Started with an A. The representative of the druid people gave us a stone for to use by the portal near the plateau.
Asterion Geantry.
Yeah, him. He gave us a stone to use on the portal, which there is a similar portal near the druid camp.
Stargate.
It's a one-way trip. If we were to use the stone to travel through the portal, we would have to travel back on foot. But on the plus side, it would be an instant trip. We wouldn't have to travel on foot on the way there.
No threat
Hey.
of the corrupted beast.
Did they give us this stone for this specific purpose to get back?
Yes.
They did. They did.
Something tells me if we don't use it, they may ask for it back. And if they ask if we used it, we may have to lie to them potentially if we don't want to give it back.
Or we could just talk our way out of it and say, hey, we're just keeping this for a just in case kind of thing where if something happens and we need to be here now we can.
I intend to speak to Asterion before the delegations anyway, so I will inform him then.
Do they have lots of them, or is it just like super special?
He said that they were pretty special.
Okay.
So
that's fair.
Yeah, like we can save it for emergency. Like if they
Yeah,
were
but-
coming under attack or something, you can use it as an instant help.
Yeah, that sounds better actually.
I'm sure they're not gonna just take it from us.
Would the
Alright, sounds like
portal
we're in
stone
a-
get us right past the mist? Could we
No.
skip the mist? Oh, well then never mind.
Yeah, definitely not.
The portal's outside the mist. Okay, so you've agreed then that we're going to do the long way around. You agree that Jiren is going to meet up with you as of like midday today, and we're probably going to be traveling the whole way through.
That's fine.
Very well.
Can
So,
Grizz just get identified quickly before we leave?
yep. If anyone has any really quick requests, we can do that before we go. Grish meets up with Deckard. He asks you for a couple of gold to identify each of the items, depending on what they are. How much do you give him?
I give him 4 gold pieces to identify the mace.
As he sees the mace, he goes, this is exceedingly rare. I should be asking for a fair bit more, actually. I would at least require 10 gold for this piece.
It's like you drive a hard bargain, Deckard, but Grizz pays him.
Well, I assure you, my friend, it shall be worth it, because this is, and I hope my pronunciation is correct. You see, like, he seems as though there's a voice talking to him, and he goes,
What?
I believe the name of this is Kaldrak, Drinker of Souls. It's quite an imposing title. It must be very good. It appears to be made of a human skull, enhanced by some sort of necromantic magic, and it seems quite sinister, actually. Where did you get this? Now I think about it.
You know travels.
Well, your travels must take you to some dark places. Anyway, so essentially, it appears that the purpose of this item is to drain the souls of fallen humanoids. As I said, rather sinister. And, you then appear to be able to consume them. I
Whoa.
don't really know if I would, condone using this, but up to you. I guess you got to use what you get. He's now identified it for you. You can have a read through for yourself as well.
Sweet.
Yep. Grish, what do you think?
I assume Grisham was alone.
Yeah, I think Grish just went.
Beard off if he wants to. Like, he wasn't being particularly stealthy. If Vic wanted to have snuck up,
Let's say,
him. No, he just speared away. He didn't think.
Cool. Was there anything else, Grish?
Yeah, I just wanted to get a shield as well.
Yeah, we could say that you bought a shield. Let me just have a look. It'll cost you 15 gold. You would have easily identified one in the marketplace.
Yeah, sweet.
Alright. You should have one in your inventory now. Just subtract the gold for me.
Cool.
Okay. Anyone else
Do we
want to
do
anything quick?
do we do a one ration per thingo? So if we're traveling 5 days, we need at least 5 rations. Is that a thing that happens?
Correct. And look, with the ration system, I'm probably not going to bother at this point unless you are in a situation where you are going to like really be struggling to maintain your levels of food. But like you've got a ranger, you've got like you're well and truly prepared for this journey. If you were to like veer off course in like a desert, then maybe it would be more applicable. But I've sort of been giving it some thought, and I don't think it's really worth our like time and effort compared to some of like the roleplay stuff we could be doing.
Are they going to provide food for us? Just out of curiosity.
They did give you 20 gold each to then spend on food and rations. We'll say that the cost of the travel and like the rations, depending on whether you wanted to be opulent or stingy, was between 1 gold and 10. So if you spent 1 gold, you'd be eating like dry hard bread the whole time, whereas if you spent like 10, you'd be eating like dried meat and like vegetables.
Definitely 10 gold. So just subtract 10?
Yep.
Hey, Omeg.
Yep.
Sylvie Fisher's a Milnese woman, right?
correct? And actually, Sobek wanted to speak with her afterwards. We can have that short conversation if you want. But what did you want to say, Isaac? Sorry, she's lactonian. What am I talking about?
Okay, never mind.
Get your facts straight.
My thoughts will stay in my mind.
My brain wasn't working. Okay, so Sobek, you, after having made eyes at Sylvie, she like, as the council was sort of wrapping up, the other councillors were kind of like filtering out, and she gave you a note to tell, like, asking you to meet her afterwards. So you are now at that meeting.
Sobek just kind of wants to keep just ingratiating himself with her.
Cool. What did you say? She's sort of like she's in a private tent. She actually, no, we'll say that you went to her home on the lake, on this pirate ship essentially, or not pirate ship, on the ship. So you head over to the Lactonian district, you head through the bustling marketplace, and you are allowed access to board the ship. She sees you in her cabin.
On our way through Lake Ton, could I've spent like 10 gold on food, wine, etc.?
Cool. So you could bring like a basket of like quite nice wine and like cheeses and that sort of thing. No worries. You enter and she goes, you seem to have quite a lovely parcel there. And she gestures suggestively at you and then at your basket.
Sobek will start like displaying it out on the table, and again, just with prestidigitation, lighting any candles in the area.
So she has like some like she has some candles in the room. They come alight. She goes, "Ooh, very nice." She pops the bottle of wine, and she pulls out 2 glasses and she pours. She goes, "Now, what can I do for you, adventurer?" And she sips away.
Didn't think this through entirely. I'm not gonna lie.
Do it. I never expected to get this far.
Do it.
Sobek's just gonna make like just basic chit chat and throwing in the occasional. So what's Jiren's deal? What's Cutter's deal? What's the council? Just trying to like slyly get little bits of information.
All right. So is there any in particular that you're asking about? We just
Who is
she could offer
really
you
against us? Is it the
That-
war?
the probably both Levrak and the Wardmaster.
Yeah, I'll really be trying to like get their deal.
So as you mentioned Wardmaster Gerard, she goes, he is such a droll man. He spent far too much time in his books. He has no social skills. We don't get along very well. He objected to my being part of the council. I am perhaps a bit too vivacious for him. And I believe he has a weakness for younger boys, in actual fact. But you didn't hear it from me.
Yeah, that's noted.
In terms of the Krasian delegate, the Dharma, he is faithful to his many wives, if you can call it that. But he never agrees with anything we say. He is almost always against all of our decisions. He does have valuable insights sometimes from his Damating's dice, so I suppose that is quite helpful, but he is an obstinate man, let me tell you. And tell me more of your adventurers. Who is the most obstinate among them? They seem like a difficult bunch sometimes.
Sobek will kind of aside that and just start telling the greatest tale of how they killed Papa, and Sobek just did it all. Just
Okay, make it
saving
like
everyone.
make a performance check for me. He describes how like he single-handedly like killed Papa, in the den, and she's like, "Oh, it sounds like a terrifying tale. What a fearsome beast! Well, you've certainly got my blood up." What else did you want to know from her?
What are the other two members, so Cutter and Jiren's, opinion of the two people that are in our way?
So there is a tense relationship amongst the council members, but there is certainly a mutual respect amongst all of us, and with the exception of the creations, there is rarely much conflict between us. We all have the best intentions for our people, of course.
I'm thinking we can just out a game. I think Avarok trying to get one of these guys out and just slipping me in is going to be our best play. Yeah, guys.
Okay, so she's gonna say, "Surely you must have preparations to make. We will chat another time. I appreciate your visit."
If possible, can Sobek finish the deal here?
Can he seal the deal? So,
Hell yeah.
she sort of escorts you to the door, and as you're standing there, Sobek, is he gonna like go in for a kiss or something?
Oh, 100%. Like a little hip grab.
Okay. Yeah. So make a persuasion check for me.
Has my Trilby?
Is the trilby once per day? I believe.
Oh yeah, this would be right after. Never mind.
Yeah, do the dice tower. Use the dice tower.
How much of a creation's body is covered in scales? Like all of it?
They yeah,
Nobody
they're
knows.
lizard folk. They're lizard folk. Well, yeah, exactly. You don't know what's under his robes. Okay. So you, as you're leaving, step into Sylvie's personal space, put a hand upon her hip, and go in for the kiss. And she leans back initially, but then she allows you to kiss her, and she goes, "Well, that was quite unexpected."
All right,
And
Sobek will make a little red
yes.
heart, and just you know where to find me. Won't even let her stop. Just nope. Red heart. Walk away. Mysterious.
"I shall see you later, mysterious stranger." And she shuts the door behind you. Out of game, so your respect with each of the factions has gone up by 50, with the exception of the Crasians. It's gone up by 30 with the Crasians. And the Lactonians, your respect has gone up by 80. So I will I'll just make those. I'll make those now before I forget.
Sobek's
That's canon. Please make it canon. Please.
Of course, someone tries to seduce her.
Well, Sobek can't resist a pretty face, and you made it canon. She looked like the picture. Even if I didn't want the council, I'd be doing this.
No, that looks like a Sylvie Fisher, to be honest.
It's there.
Is this the bold thing again? The bold guy?
the last council member that he shared with us.
Oh, Golden Tongue. Yeah, look, I'll take that. Yeah, why not?
So,
Omeg.
so Tom, just so you know, Sobek has Sylvia covered, but you're the only female in our party, and there's 4 other council members that are guys. Just letting
Yeah,
you know.
that is true. Yep.
Gonna be busy.
You don't know
Yep,
how
plenty
many
of
of them
fish in
are
the
afraid.
sea.
Omeg, I have a question.
Yeah, what's up, man?
So during the council meeting, I noticed that there was one person that was speaking primarily for the council. Was that Jiren? Or was that Gerard?
That was Jiren.
Alright, cool. That's all I wanted to know.
That's
So
alright.
yeah, Sylvie, that's canon, Sylvie, please.
Yep, she's
Nice.
she's
That's how
about
she was
40,
looking at
but
Sobek.
she's looking good.
She's aging gracefully, like wine.
Yep, she's a beautiful lady.
Stop.
He's actually got 7 wives. Just so you're aware. Yeah, I mean, there's
Boy toy?
precedent for it. There's a precedent for it. Okay, so we are going to get onto our journey section of the session. I'm going to potentially handwave a lot of this because there's still a lot to do with the next council meeting. So we can. I'll make a couple of rolls to see if you have any major obstacles, but we'll say with such a large group, it's not very likely that anything's going to mess with you guys essentially, and you will have a ranger in your party to make sure you don't get off track. So it should be a pretty simple journey. Let me just make a couple of quick rolls.
And while you're making those rolls, I want to talk to Sobek real quick.
Go for it.
So Sobek, you mentioned earlier you could do something with my great goat horns. Is that offer still on the table?
I can fashion a simple weapon with typical animal parts, yes?
Would they be as good or better as a normal weapon of that variety?
So that'd be Olmeg on Cunning Artisan. What he's asking, could I make whatever he asked me to make with the horns?
Depends on what it is.
2 javelins.
Yeah, I'd say you can make like bone tips.
It definitely, like, it specifically says a javelin.
Yeah,
like a shield, a
yeah.
club.
I'd say you could probably make about 5 javelins worth of like stuff. It would take you a bit of time, but yeah, surely you could definitely do that probably before next session.
Okay, yeah. Whenever Store wants me to, I'll start on that. Just as we're traveling, just occasionally working on it.
Sounds good. And speaking of that, how's my table coming along? Is it doing good? Almost done?
Get most of the way through. It's starting to come together. It's still got the big signature of Barry on it. It's like a big stone slab, and the legs are starting to look pretty sturdy. It's coming together quite nicely.
It's
Really
beautiful.
ready to unveil it.
Yeah, it's going to be in the center of the new structure that we're having.
Alrighty, so during your journey, it rains 3 days out of 5. It's about a 5-day journey. Jiren grumbles for a lot of it, although he does have quite an opulent like carriage with 2 horses to pull it, and he sort of spends most of his time in there. But whilst he's not in the carriage and out in the rain, he's sort of like, "Oh, I do not know how you adventurers do this. It is just foul out here. Did you see the bugs out there? Oh."
It's almost like we should get paid more for this terrible environment.
No, you're used to this, but me, I'm a much more delicate creature.
We're used to this, but we're not used to you.
I am a delight. What are you suggesting, young man?
All of this whining might bring
Young
something
man.
more dangerous.
He is joking, of course. You are a delight.
Why, thank you, young miss. And he looks at you. He sort of he looks at you with like a predatory look in his eye.
Alex, make your move.
No, not the predatory look. That's not what I'm going for.
You see that? He's like very confused by what you just said and did. This is so we get through maybe like 4 days of travel. During your travels, you do come across a huge set of footprints somewhere, and I'm gonna bring up the world map for you guys. Okay, we'll put. I'm just gonna put a Norrin on here. So at about F11, you guys noticed some huge footprints, and it's pointed out to. Let me just bring him up. I'm gonna make sure he's always up here. Jiren notices them as well, as you guys sort of stop for lunch nearby, and he goes, what kind of creature could have made these tracks? The footprints are about the size of like. Well, you can make a survival check to determine what they might be. Cool, makes a lot of sense. So, Norin, you recognize these as probably being from a dragon. It appears that something has landed here and taken off, and the only creature that fits the description for you would be that of an adult dragon.
I'm gonna call Sobek over.
Not a griffin.
So they'll come over.
That stole my pack earlier.
That actually wasn't a griffin, by the way.
You told me it was.
No, you misheard me. Sobek, would you like to say anything?
Hippogriff, that one.
Mm-hmm. What did you want to do with Sobek?
Oh, I just wanted like gesture, be like, you know, do you want me to write on my map, "Here be dragons"?
I do not think it is necessary.
Well, do you know roughly which, being lizard folk, do you have any sort of innate, I don't know, communication with dragons?
That's racist.
Yeah, I was just say D&D
Yeah.
racism right there.
Racist.
I mean, he's the first lizard folk I've really met, so I don't know.
Sobek's just gonna look offended, but can I make a nature check? Like to see if I can? Like, that's a good question. Like, can I?
Yeah, sure. I'll let you make a nature check. I would say that you recognize this to be like there's something in the paw prints that suggests to you that this might be a blue dragon, but that's about all that you can pick up.
Sounds like the color blue.
Sobek will note that. He doesn't say anything. He'll just I have no idea.
All right, you guys get back on your way.
Are they very deep? The prints?
Yeah, how big are these prints? Like you say dragon size, but
So one of the feet
Then you
would
dragon.
be no, one of the feet would be about the size of like a couch, like a full-size couch.
okay.
Right.
Just me to look over at the couch. Fuck you, Jess.
No, I'm just thinking
It's about-
about, you know, all the jokes of Americans use everything but the metric system. Like this hole is the size of the 6 laundry, 6 washing machines, and you keep 6 sausage dogs apart. and over here, Jacques fucking doing it. It's the size of a couch.
They're rubbing off on me.
He's more American than most of us, to be fair, though.
Yeah, so it's quite large. It's like not quite the size of a wagon, but approaching that. All right, shall we move on?
That's
Uh,
what I was gonna say.
Yeah, this is more just something I wanted to say along the travel, and I want to have separate conversations with both and Sobek, just throughout the traveling. I'll go with you, Sobek. So Sobek, why do you want to be on the council so bad? What's your gain?
I believe my talents are best on the council. I am useful in the field, but I am a salesman at the end of the day.
Aren't you worried that how the Creations view you might hurt your word on the council?
Politics are all give and take with a balance. I do not worry of 1/5.
But 1/5 has arguably the most military presence in the world. I'm correct on that, right? They are like the more powerful military people.
Look, you've spent enough time around Creations and everyone else to know this. The Creations don't have the largest force, but arguably the most well-trained and deadly.
All right, so yeah, I stand by what I said.
Even 300 cannot stand against an infinite force.
You just reference like
Yeah, I
the
was just saying,
300.
that's really good
Okay,
reference, and I
I
wish I
thought
had some
about it and I
smart
was
to
like,
say to that.
whatever.
Cool. Is
Eh,
there anything else you guys wanted to go through? Yep.
No, that's everything with Sobek. But then I kind of asked Norn the same question. I was like, why do you want to be on the council? You're not even part of the homeland.
To fill the position of an outsider, as your folk put it. Put myself in that sort of position on the council, so I have a voice for the people of this land.
But we were looking for a council member for the Adventurers Guild, not a council member for the people of the land, or the people of this land.
Why not both?
You might have your interest might not align with the Adventurers Guild's interest. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah,
What
that's fair.
if you have to make a choice between the peoples of this land and the Adventurers Guild? Who are you gonna choose? And then I walk away. I don't even let him answer that. I just walk away after
Oh,
that.
perfect. I didn't want to answer it anyways.
Twist. All right. So we're getting towards the end of our travels now. You guys are like you're at F4. Christian, why are you just rolling dice?
Just testing something out. Never mind.
Okay. Never mind. Yep.
I don't know who's got the lowest intelligence.
Who looks the most mentally susceptible? I don't know how to answer that one. What do you mean by mentally
Who
susceptible?
looks like a damper?
In
Like
what?
an L?
In what? I think he's trying to ask who's the dumbest person here, right?
Isaac's pretty impressionable, if that's what you're asking. All right, no worries. Okay. You guys talk amongst yourselves one more moment. I just
Okay.
wanted to add
Well,
something
I'm
there.
gonna. Before we get to the
Well, thank
the
you.
fog,
I'm
I want to talk.
trying on my squats.
What did you want to do there? Sorry.
I'm gonna be right back for a second, but before we get to the fog, I want to talk to Jaren.
Okay, no worries.
Alex, you must here. Let me show you how to do a proper squat.
Oh, I couldn't improve on my technique, but you know what? Give it a shot.
I show him a proper squat.
All right, no worries. He's impressed. She's impressed, sorry.
I think it was a pretty good squat.
That is actually quite good. I will I'll do that for my squats now, and maybe I'll get these
Good.
thighs a bit thicker.
You can get a buttocks like mine.
Buttocks like mine. Yikes.
I flex my buttocks and show him.
Fuck me.
Like the peck dance, but with your butt cheeks.
Exactly. It's almost like twerking, but not quite. It's not quite there yet. It's
Far
like
more impressive.
it's like primitive twerking almost. Or in Alex's world, it's the more advanced twerking.
Far more useful.
Exactly. Yeah. If I ever get chained, I can crush the chain between my buttocks.
All right, I'm back.
Okay. So, as you guys are traveling, you stumble across the portal that you saw previously. It looks something along the lines of this, and I think some of you will get a laugh out of this. Krish?
What is this referencing, though?
Oh,
Stargate.
yay!
What? What do you
An
mean?
absolutely
What is this
fantastic TV
referencing?
show.
Yeah, this is purely from this world, actually. So you see it tucked into the forest, and it sort of lays there dormant as you pass it.
Can I make it like a perception roll to see if any of the people, the druid people, are around here?
Make a perception check.
Mm-hmm. Luckily, I put an extra point into wisdom.
You don't see any signs around you of anyone who might be watching or anything like that.
Okay.
We still have
Okay.
those stones that had like the power to glow from that dungeon last
I
weekend.
I believe in your inventory you have what appears to be. So the stone is called a charged chaos crystal.
Yeah, nice. Could I I don't know, touch the stone on the circle to see if there's any response whatsoever?
So you walk up to the portal, and you see as you get closer there is kind of what appears to be like a device that should be like the control mechanism for this. It's like a circular device. It has a slot for a gem in the center,
Yeah.
and around it there is like symbols. The obvious place for your crystal would be this like empty space in the center. You put
Yeah.
the crystal in, nothing seems to happen.
Okay, nothing whatsoever.
Did we
No,
see him do
it
that?
doesn't seem to be a good. It doesn't seem to be a good fit. Like it's obviously meant to accommodate a much larger crystal. This is more like a finger-sized shard, the one you have in your hand.
Yeah, I'll take it
Whereas,
like that.
yeah, the slot you're trying to feel is more like the size of two fists.
Mm.
Yeah, you have a
Um,
petty soul gem. You need a grand soul gem.
You did see him do that, by the way.
Is there any like handprints on any of the dial? As in, I want to kind of see if anyone's used it in the past, or whether it's somewhat untouched for a long period of time.
It looks like it doesn't get used often. There are some. Yeah, look, there would be some of the handprints that would be less like grimy than the others, as though there was like some use in recent times.
Yeah, cool.
And some remain like untouched.
After seeing him pull that out, I look over at Vic and say, "Vic, him pulling out that crystal reminds me. I had 2 crystals, and you seem to have lost them." I was the one who walked up and smashed them and took them. So yes, that seems to how this party works for the most part. Just know you owe me 2 crystals.
And Latin words.
I laugh heartedly at that and then keep walking.
No worries.
North in the background is chanting, "Fight, fight, fight, fight."
So you guys, you wanted to chat. Who wanted to chat with
Yeah, that was in
what's that?
game.
No, me? No, no.
Jiren. Someone wanted to chat with Jiren before we arrived at the Mists.
Right. No, I just want to be like in visual range of the mist.
Yeah. So you guys are pushing through the forest, and all of a sudden you see off in the distance a wall of white fog.
Right. So I'll. Is he in like a full on like enclosed carriage, or is he just like on a cart or something?
He is like he's in like an enclosed carriage, and you see like his driver is doing his best to like fight through the friggin' thick undergrowth. You guys have had to cut stuff out of the way several times, as this carriage is kind of like not really intended for the kind of off-road travel that you guys are. It has slowed you down a bit, actually.
So I'll, I guess, jump onto the side of it or something, and say, it might be best for you to dismount here.
Oh, we've arrived? Excellent. And he steps out of the carriage and he looks and he goes, "What on earth is that?"
And that brings me to my second point. This is protection for the druids, and when you go through,
Well, hang on. You mean to say that the druidic city had some form of magical protection, and you did not think it would behoove you to inform me of this before we set out upon...
You said you were a great you said you could handle it.
Oh my goodness. You adventurers are perhaps not as intelligent as I once thought.
Perhaps you're not as strong as we once thought.
And regardless, I will be writing this in my report, but what is it that I must do to pass through this barrier?
Hold on, how important is Vic?
I wanna interject.
Mhm.
Alright, so we've got Vic, are you also interjecting?
I interject.
50-50?
Um,
Alright, so I guess we'll let Isaac interject.
Sir, don't worry. The fog is but a test of your true intentions. You're pure of heart. It doesn't pose any true harm to you unless you carry malicious intent. We did not find the need to tell you because we trusted that you had good faith, that you were not a villain to worry about. Just walk through it. It'll test you, and that is that.
Vic, would you want to say something? You look like you're about to eat your mic. Yep. Yeah, we can talk. We can definitely. If anyone wants to have a private chat, and keep in mind, I probably going through the mist. You will probably all chat with me privately, as like you interact with the mist. So we'll do that. We'll try and do that. Like,
Okay, before you disappear though.
Yep.
Did was the whole party in on the fact that they discovered a mansion last session?
No, I didn't know
I
it.
have no idea. Nobody knows that.
Like, is that something that they kept to themselves, or did they come back and tell the rest of the group?
You'd have to ask. Isaac was there and Sobek was there.
Yeah, I don't know who was
Isaac
there.
doesn't really talk about stuff.
Norm was there too, right?
No, it's Rakaros.
Well, were you
Sobek,
there?
and myself.
No.
Sobek is keen to telling adventure stories at like the dinner campfire in the camp, so it's possible.
We'll say traveling together for a week that you probably would have
Yeah.
heard about.
I wanna say that Isaac didn't say anything. He's pretty reserved. He keeps to himself.
Go ahead and like describe that adventure to them, Sobek.
It's a little synopsis.
We found a old abandoned mansion on the plateau. It's that little house area that I think Store saw it. It's like the big bushes.
Oh, that's what that was.
And like a warded trap door was holding a. His name was Aladrin. Does that have any? Is that his race? Isn't that a race in D&D?
No, he was an elf.
The Aladrins are elves, aren't they? Isn't that like the D&D?
I think
It's
his
like a
name was
kind of elf.
Aladrin.
Okay.
Oh, really? Oh.
Okay, I was thinking that you was just making a play on Aladdin because you were singing a whole new word before.
This guy's name was Aladrin. He referred to himself as an Elvenon, or
Elven.
one of the Elvenon is how he referred to himself.
But he was just doing some dank stuff in that basement with crystals.
All right, so that's that was pretty much a synopsis of it. Now you guys have an idea. Is there anything you wanted to do with that, Uther?
No, it's just as a talking point for when you fuck up.
Okay, no worries. So what I'll do
Okay.
is I'll take you. Firstly, though, Jaren seems a little bit skeptical. He doesn't seem super thrilled with the idea of heading into this mist, but he begrudgingly agrees. I'm just gonna quickly take Vic.
So
Literally,
Sobek.
Hey, dude, this was always gonna be the first obstacle. So what I'm thinking is there's two ways we could do this. Baal hasn't really like asked that much about the mist yet, so you might want to do that in character. Like what exactly is the test? Because then he could decide whether he was like able to deceive it. I will tell you as well that if he were to cede control to Vic whilst Vic goes through, there's a chance that Baal could like hide deep inside your subconscious. Mm-hmm. And then it would be up to Vic as to whether Vic would like then tell everyone that there's this internal battle going on. If he did manage to regain control, or maybe Vic loses control after he steps through the barrier. So you kind of have a few options. I'll probably come back to you if you decide to step through. But for now, you can think about it and you can decide on behalf of Balthazar what you want to do. All right. I don't want to keep you in here too long because it'll be sus. Yep. 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 You can maybe try to convince Jaren that he shouldn't go through, and then like swing it so that you were staying behind to protect Jaren, or perhaps you just choose not to go through. Like, sort of, there's a few options. It probably is a bit sus. No. I've noticed it's good. It's cool, man. I dig it. But yeah, cool. Yeah.
Do we know?
Okay.
3 of us know.
You'll have to find
we-
out. I don't want to ruin the surprise.
I want to be the
Okay,
first
good.
through.
Yep. So Nara just comes up.
I step through.
Isaac puts his hand on Vic's shoulder, like, don't worry, Vic. Nothing's gonna happen to you, just...
What's it like?
Well, it varies from person to person, but from what I've gathered, they see through you. They know everything about you. And there's nothing you can hide. They test your purity and your intention before they allow you access past the veil. What intentions do you have for the villagers that live beyond this fog? That's what it seeks. There are no lies in the fog. They know everything. But don't worry. And then I take my hand off before I nod to him and then walk through the veil, disappearing into the mist.
I'm just gonna quickly. I realize that you probably can't speak to Jaren when I'm not here. I was gonna say I'm gonna go and have that chat with Norin first. You guys can. Yeah. All right.
Don't worry, Vic. I'll hold your hand going through. I'll hold your hand going through. It'll be okay. I promise.
Yeah, but the fog knows everything.
Sobek made it through once. How bad can it be?
That's kind of what I'm holding that hope right now. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, so Vic can make it through.
So I can make it through. Anybody can make it through.
That's a good point, Uthar. They might
Sounds
not
like
let
you're
you
not
through,
getting
Vic.
through the veil.
No.
I kind of wish Mercurio was with us because I'd want to see how the bird would react to this.
The bird would get vaporized.
Yeah,
don't you have a-
exactly.
Every time someone says its name, it's pronounced differently every time it's used. I'm going Rakuro. He said Rakuro. But there's no extra I. It should be Rakiro if
It's
you're
like you're
gonna...
calling him an old like cabinet, a curio.
Calling him an old cabinet.
Oh, he's through the mist now. I will. I'll be Isaac through
Yeah.
now. Yep.
Vic, I'm wondering how Balthazar is gonna fare going through that mist.
Oh shit! That's right.
this-
You have that.
Said out loud.
Surely,
Is that said out
surely he
loud?
should be killed.
Is this out of game or in game? What are you talking about this?
In out of game.
He might just
Or,
vaporize.
Actually, no, in game. No, I'll do it in game. Yeah. What's gonna happen to Balthazar? Maybe you should just like I don't know, like bury him in a hole and just kind of leave him there for a bit.
Put him him in a tree and hope for the best.
Yeah, because honestly, if this
Don't
wall
be
has
getting
any
carried away by
power
a bird.
whatsoever, he's not gonna make it.
All right, who's next? Is anyone going through?
Yeah, but he has intentions.
Paper.
He's a sentient being.
I'm also concerned that if the veil tries to destroy him, maybe it might just set him free. Because
I like
he
Alex.
wants
Let's
to be
dig
out
a
of that
hole.
scroll.
All right, who will go next? Is anyone ready to go through?
Whether Balthazar is going to make his way through.
You guys have no way of knowing whether Balthazar would.
Grizz, will you mute yourself?
Grish. Fucking. Of course, that's what you're doing. Grish, no. If you're not talking. All right, Grish goes to the mist. And, all right.
How dangerous is this mist, Sobek? Like, are we gonna die if we fail?
Well, I think they only experience what they only know what happens if
we made
somebody
it through.
fails. Nobody's failed before, unless
So
they
Sobek-
ask the druids on the other side what's happened.
So Sobek, I need you to be 100% real with me. What are your intentions? Because if you made it through with bad intentions, then there's nothing to worry about. But if you have good intentions, then
Sobek has no bad intentions. They are the same as yours.
for some reason I highly doubt that. But I will take the answer for what it is.
Sobek will wiggle his liar's ring kind of at you like, I can't.
Just because you have a ring. All right, let's put the ring to the test. Why? Where are you from, Sobek?
Ivram's bounty, south, I believe, of the plateau.
And that's one, I'm not quite sure where everything is.
And that's fine. I just broad answers. Do you consider yourself a good person?
What is a good person?
From the societal hierarchy of morals, do you consider yourself a good person? How society views you? He's in a private chat.
Yeah, he's gone. He's
He's
talking
been, like,
to, yeah.
Grabbing one of us each.
I mean, but I mean, anybody, you could ask your like 5-year-old kid, hey, what's good, what's bad? And they're gonna give you a rough understanding of what's good and what's bad.
They're gonna say gummy bears and vegetables.
Probably. Seems like some store would do.
What were you guys? Is anyone stepping through now?
Yeah, I'll go.
I'll just walk. I run through.
That's just because Vic doesn't want to talk to him anymore.
We're all just kind of standing around. Sobek will look over to Vic.
Who is this Balthazar?
A friend. I guess I would say frenemies would be a good description.
Friend.
Based on mutual understanding and hate.
I was just repeating frenemy like in Sobek's.
Daggers? Do you mean love hearts?
Has Alex rolled on the attractiveness scale yet? Because I have a flaw. Sobek can't resist a pretty face.
That is a good. Is that just like a 1d10 or something? A D20. Okay. Okay. Come on. Something not shit. 12. Could be worse. Yeah.
And
That's
when you gesture to Alex, Sobek will give like a male curtsy, like just a bow.
Player.
I have a shirt on, a little like ass. No, I have like a t-shirt on, so it's not like we're stripping. Don't mind us.
All right, nice. Take it all off. Who's going next?
Yeah, I'll go.
All right.
I just kind of wish we had like some sort of evil animal thing or individual that we could tie to a rope and just throw through the mist and pull back and see what happens.
We have a Bon. He's a little impish demon. I could just like point him to go in there, and I just resummon him in like an hour.
Oh, that's cursing. That being said, if he died in there, would we know, or would it just be like
I know
like
instantly.
a demon corpse? Oh, okay.
It's like a telepathic link is just immediately broken.
Oh yeah. Would you be able to tell whether he like slowly dies, or whether his just existence is gone? Just like it's a yes or no proposition.
The only time it's happened was Barry, and I think Barry just whacked him with a club, and he said,
okay.
Like you see, and then just the image stops, like a camera feed cuts out.
Yeah. Oh, so you can see what he sees.
I think it's a little bit more than what D&D says, but he allows me like flashes of an image occasionally.
Oh,
like just very basic images.
That would be very useful.
And like we can send emotions, not like a
Right.
bunch of words.
Who's next?
Yep, I'll go.
Yeah. That's why I asked if it was. Sobek has that name now. It was set. That's why I asked if it was in game. I was like, Balthazar. I think we could be good friends if you know we can. Look, power is power. Am I right? Just with a name like Balthazar, holy shit. And yeah, that. Thank you. So I gave it a nice conditioning this morning, but I had to take all that crap off. It was getting really annoying. But yeah, and I don't have any like proper gloves, and I was wanting Sobek to be dressed up for the that council meeting. That's why he was like, "Nah, she's kind of like older." I was like, "Yes." "Nah, Canon, she's the picture." And I'm like, "Fuck!" So like, even if we didn't need the position, I would have to.
All right. So now, standing before the mist, we only have Sobek. We have Mr. Golden Tongue, Jiren, and Vic.
Then I will be the anchor. The last to go to protect the people staying behind. If they do not make it through, they will be alone. I am
At this point,
guaranteed.
Jiren is like, I don't want to be last, and he sort of charges through. His wooden soldier alongside him. The horses, they leave. Actually, the horses come through too.
Okay, Sobek will agree. Yeah, Sobek will agree and kind of just he's not too afraid. No, so Sobek will kind of. Oh.
All right. So Sobek's going.
Yes. Do I need to make that roll?
Hey. No worries. The dog. Wait. So, what is your decision? Yes. No worries. Yeah. Yep. So, okay. So Bal decides that the best course of action is to withdraw. Are you going to withdraw, or are you going to try and resist? Yeah. Okay. So he can tell that he's been in your brain, like he's been through your mind. So he knows that. And he goes, "It seems we are at an impasse." Well, I think I should be able to resist the effects of this guardian. I am a strong creature. You know nothing of my might. Well, mayhaps I will recoil were he to break through my defenses. I can be quite quick with my manipulations of someone's mind. Very well. You, at this point, have no control. This is all happening in your mind. He goes, "Yeah, I'd allow you to persuade. I'll make like a check against you." It was a good check from you as well, but he rolled a nat 20. Look, I'd say that he feels he sees to your argument that it is in his best interest to allow you control for now. So as you go through, you will have control in the mist, and he will immediately assault your mind on the other side. You feel that? Correct. But it's a chance. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, right now though, he's gonna allow you access, but as soon as that, and you've only got access while he allows it. But as soon as you exit the mist, he will come back at you at full strength, and you'll have to make that save right away. Yeah. All right. Cool. Okay. So you enter the mist. You feel the presence, and you feel Baal withdraw control. He hides in a corner and hardens his mental barriers. You feel the oppressive weight. Do you resist the effects of this creature, or like this presence? Do you resist it, or do you allow it in? Mm-hmm. Okay, so as you allow it in, it rifles through your mind. It sees the point where you met Baal in the you see it trying to access memories that appear to be cloudy. What is this? Who is he? Balmazir? Foolish, foolish mortal. What have you allowed into your soul? And at this point, he finds where Balthazar is hiding in your mind, and he tries to penetrate it. And you feel this like mental presence find the corner of your mental, and it penetrates, and you feel Baal pull to the surface of your consciousness. You betrayed me. "You foolish mortal, I shall destroy you," and you feel pain, like incredible pain, as so you see, and then all of a sudden you feel like it feels as though there's two consciousnesses in your mind, and they're fighting and trying to destroy each other. And at this point, the presence says, "Enough." And you feel the mist press down upon you and tear the two of you apart. "You will be in stasis for now. My people will decide what to do with you." And you feel like it's almost as like there's this prison upon your mind. Your thoughts are like cloudy. You feel, yeah, you feel Balzahar like suppressed to one portion and you suppressed to another, and your body is like almost comatose, like a zombie, and you exit the mist.
The other side of the portal kind of thing. So it's like,
Alright.
and this is a different world from where everybody came from.
Hey, we're all here. We made it through.
So, as you all come through, everyone seems to have like their encounter with the mist, but Vic is the last to come through. Yeah, cameras on, guys. The last to come through is Vic, and as he stumbles, oh, and me as well. So Vic comes through, and he is completely deadpan, like a zombie. As he comes through, he just stands there and stares blankly. For everyone who hasn't seen it, by the way, this is the scene you approach, you sort of emerge into.
Wow.
Vic just stands there, having exited the mist, and doesn't move or respond in any way.
What
Vic?
about the council guy?
So at this point, you see some furbolgs approach you. Let me just find my
Yeah,
picture.
sorry, I didn't hear anything that you just said. My computer glitched out from the time
Okay,
that you
so
had
Vic comes through.
re-entered.
Vic comes through the mist, and he stands there completely like comatose. He doesn't respond. He's just staring blankly and standing like a zombie.
Okay, so that tells us a lot.
Did Golden Tongue come through as well?
He did. He emerged. He seems to be like crying, but he sort of wipes his and he goes, "Nothing to it, eh?"
Not for you, apparently.
I give him like a look of approval and kind of slap his back.
I
Like-
also try and slap his back, but like had to jump up for it.
Slap the back of his knee.
Yeah. Like his calf or something.
I go up to Vic and say, "How you doing, buddy? You good?"
Well, he's out there right now, so.
Oh,
He doesn't respond anyway.
Okay.
He's like catatonic.
I slap him. Does he respond to that?
He doesn't respond at all.
Oh God, guys, I think we
Nice.
killed him.
I'm gonna pull out a length of rope and like tie Vic to Isaac,
I can just carry him.
or that.
I just throw him on my back and carry him.
All right, there we go.
Okay,
Grizz,
so at this
Grizz
point, sorry, Chris, what are you gonna do?
he wants to go and ask one of the furbolgs if they know what's happening with Vic.
So just the one furbolg emerges from the forest. He has a little bird on his shoulder, and he wanders up and he goes, "You might be wondering about your companion." And he gestures to Vic. Vic might want to be here for this, actually. He might be interested to hear.
This is Asterion coming to talk to us, right?
Yeah, so this is Asterion. Firstly, we'll discuss your companion in a moment, but firstly, would you introduce me to the rest of your friends? And he looks at Isaac and Sobek, who had previously met him.
I
So
step-
he looks to the previous visitors.
Yep. So we'll say he looks to Isaac to introduce everyone.
Hello. I'm sure that your people have seen us before. These are my comrades. We came from the plateau, our home. We are known as the Adventurers Guild. We wish to represent our home in order to meet with your people and discuss how we will face the corruption. None of us
He looks
mean
at
you any harm.
He looks at you and says, "Well, Isaac, I know you. We've been expecting you. You've supped at my house. You've enjoyed my sweet wine. I was merely looking for you to introduce us. Why so formal?"
It's in my nature. I can't help myself. I don't wish to disrespect you after all you've done.
Well, it is appreciated.
If you'd like
So
to
Uther steps
explain yourself
forward
to
and
them,
introduces.
yes. Go
Yeah.
ahead, guys.
Yeah, Uther steps forward and introduces himself and says that he is Uther, and that it is. I can't think of the word.
Hello?
I'm Uther.
Yeah, I can't think of the word.
No worries.
No, like no.
You
Shut up.
you just trail off, and he's just like,
No,
"Oh,
I can't
okay.
try
He
I'm
seems
trying to think of the word.
nice."
It's not like respectful. It's like, and it's not like a pleasure.
Humbled,
But it's,
humbled by.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, and that he'd been in communication with Sylvanus in order to enlist his help.
No worries.
Their
So,
situation. Their situation.
well, we can go around and introduce yourselves if you want, but I think we probably, now I think about it, we've kind of already done that at the start of the session. We'll probably do it with the council as well. So, unless anyone wants to step forward and like make a point of introducing themselves.
Astro, we should get a drink sometime.
Ha! I like your style, young man. You should try
Young
some of
girl.
my sweet wine. So,
Woman.
young lady.
Yes, please.
Well, man.
No worries.
I'll have
I'll
some of
have it.
that wine too.
No worries. So he.
Hold on one second.
Yep.
After everyone's like done introducing, I'm gonna try and like quietly talk to Asteria and say, "I'd like to speak to you privately before this meeting."
Well, I will be happy to accommodate, but first, you are probably wondering what is going on with your companion here, and he gestures over to Vic.
Oh yeah.
The spirits have spoken to me and explained the situation, as I will now explain to you. It appears that this Vic has allowed a demon into his soul, into his body, I should say.
I drop him.
So
What?
I get the rope back out.
I thought you meant you
Um,
knocked him out and dropped him.
I pick him back up.
It appears as though he was trying to become more powerful, and the demon seized control. He has been masquerading for days.
Should we kill him?
The spirit has portioned his soul off into two separate entities, and right now he is in a stasis that has been induced by the Great Spirit. We can attempt to try to extract the demon, but the process is likely to be very dangerous. What would you like to do?
On a scale from 1 to 10, how likely is he to die? From leaving the demon in there with him and taking it out?
Well, it depends on the process with which we proceed. And for now, he is safe to us and to himself, as much as the inner turmoil will resume as soon as he leaves the Vale. Perhaps we should discuss it more at length with the council.
Sounds like a plan. Stan.
Seems a strange expression, but okay. And he sort of says, "Do you have any more questions about this? My name is not Stan. I'm Asterion." As you, he asks if you have any more questions about this.
Just where I can find the wine.
Well, we'll get to that later. For now, you have got it close. The council meeting shall begin tonight. I assume you used the portal? You look grimy for having done so.
I'll step forward and say, "This is also something I'd like to talk to you about."
Very well, let's us have a chat. You can talk to him separately if you want. You guys can discuss amongst yourselves what has just been revealed to you.
He left.
He's
Be
gone.
gone.
He gone, dude.
And-
So Vic. So Vic is an evil guy apparently.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Sobek's the
that-
one we have to watch out for. Yeah, okay.
I want to
I-
wave my hand in front of Vic's face, see if there's a response. Anything?
I definitely apologize to you, Solvik, for misjudging your character, but
Grab Vic by the shoulders and shake him back and forth.
definitely. Definitely. I definitely don't trust him still. But
So I grab. Alright, no metagaming. Hey, hey. Let's tone it down. He's not here right now. He's
but
talking
he gone.
to. He's talking to Norin.
Didn't he say his soul was partitioned?
split
So
in
it's in
two.
separate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
With-
I guess the way that they would try and heal him, I guess, would be reforming his soul and giving his soul control of the body before they
So
tried to exercise it or whatever.
before we went through the mist, was
I'm,
it
Probably.
I'm not
was it just
confident in
his-
trusting you, to be honest.
before we went into the mist, was it just his soul that was infected and now it's been partitioned?
I
No,
understand.
no, he
idea?
said that the last few days he's been like possessed by the demon. The demon's been in control.
So you were already demon
Oh.
mode. Oh my
I
god.
was say, yeah, I took it as like he had the demon soul and his normal soul was like kind of split in half, and they
I
kind of
love that.
separated them to try to keep
Okay.
this infection from
I
spreading.
thought he was just
almost.
being Vic.
Yeah.
No, my perception is low in
So-
real
No, I
life.
did. He was being angrier than usual.
So are,
Oh, true, true, true.
Yeah,
It-
that is. Yeah, you did threaten death on many
and
people.
quick to
Yep.
quick to death threats.
I was
So-
thinking that Vic just wanted to turn the
I
rogue
thought
up a
maybe he
notch.
was. No, I thought maybe that the demon was like whispering in his ear, kind of thing. But I didn't think possession. No, I wasn't there for the mansion one, but I was there for the dungeon crawl.
Oh, by the way, I could actually just tell you guys about the mansion too. So we looked for this guy's missing brother, a Milnese dude. He pointed us towards the foliage above the hub, and what's in there is abandoned mansion. It's like 4 stories tall with nothing in there. We go into the basement. There's like some mad scientist living down there. He's Elvin, and he experiments with chaos crystals. Basically, the only person he knows is Rakuro because we were hiding in the shadows watching their interactions. But we suspect he's evil because he has like locked doors with like weird noises that we weren't able to go through.
I mean,
I'm
everyone
so
does
keen to
something
like
hide.
move into the mansion and just abandon the camp.
Oh, we could
We'll
totally
take
live
the,
there.
the stuff from
We'd
the
have to
camp.
clean it up.
I
It has a
second
lot of
that.
broken stuff,
Yeah,
broken
take
furniture.
the stuff, the building materials that they've been like building our camp, and take that
That's
to
a
the
great
mansion
idea.
and
I-
build it up.
Wait,
Yeah, we
I
don't-
mean,
because
is it
that's
close?
like that's a and it's like a mansion and it's protected because it's like an enchanted forest.
Some of
around
the
it, so
furniture
you've
is
got to, like, cut your
alive.
way through it.
We fought
Yeah.
a carpet. We
So,
fought
like-
a carpet that like ate Sobek. Kind of. It like wrapped around Sobek and we killed it.
Yeah, we'll just have to do a little bit of trap
Oh, yeah,
disarming
yeah.
and stuff.
Wait,
And
where was
something
this
about
at?
that
But
mage.
it could be a pretty cool dig. No
Wait, where was this?
copyright.
Where was
Wait.
this
How do
mansion?
you not know the words?
It's in the foliage right above the words, the hub, the village that we normally go to where the bar and stuff. Right above that, there's like a circle of trees. It's in the center, dead center. But just
Yeah,
know
like-
that mad
yeah, we could-
scientist is shisty. I don't know about him. We have to do something about that guy.
Wait, where?
But actually, that guy is giving us chaos crystals, so he's like actually a plug. He's like our dealer for chaos crystals, as evil as he
Yeah,
may seem.
so-
So maybe we could like, he could be
yeah.
our roommate,
So
our shifty roommate.
yeah, exactly. He's fine. We'll just keep him in the basement, keep him happy, feed him some little treats. And
He
he'll
might
fine.
be experimenting
that
on
big-
innocence though. We aren't sure.
Can you guys see that circle I'm drawing now?
Oh, okay.
the
So that was the
Yeah,
little house
yeah, yeah.
thing. Okay,
Yeah,
that makes
so
more
yeah,
sense now.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
now
So
I understand. I
it's
was looking on the
completely
world map.
hidden as well, so it'd be
Yeah, that's
real
exactly
private,
it.
and we could
I vote we
conduct
take
whatever
this.
we want out of the eyes of the council
I
that
think that
are
should be our new
so
guild.
wanting to be up in our business right now.
Yeah, that could be like our little Jersey Shore house. It's 4 stories, so we could all easily have a room.
I get the top story by myself. I already called dibs. Vic, listen, we're talking about killing you.
You are not awake.
Yeah, you're
So
supposed to be
that-
dead.
You
You're dead
cannot
right now.
talk.
You
But
can't
yeah,
say
so
that.
on more pressing matters, are we willing to kill Vic if we can't figure
Absolutely.
it out? Like, this is something we need to talk about.
I don't think killing is a good thing.
But-
He
because
wants
he
my
is, like, one
finger
of our
for a
We
ring.
need to find a
but
way to
if-
save
also,
him.
we don't know what that would do to the demon. We don't know if we kill his
But if there's
you
no
know,
other
physical
way,
body.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that
we
would
just need
release the mind demon into a corporeal form.
we just need to be prepared to be willing to kill Vic. Is all I'm saying.
Oh, why does every time somebody jumps back in, it boots me out?
Just we need to make sure that we're all willing to kill Vic if the process seems more dangerous than it's worth.
Maybe every time somebody
Vic, your sound's
jump
not
back
coming
into
through.
the thing, it boots me
yeah,
out.
Vic,
of
you're
the
muted.
Maybe just try exit and rejoin.
Oh, okay.
Vic-
Oh,
Vic
you're
said-
like looking at the camera mid scene. You're probably wondering how I got here.
So I
You're
assume
muted.
that's the consensus we came
Uh,
up. Well,
but-
you guys came up with.
Yeah, it's all right. You look like you tried to say
It all
something else.
started when I touched that skull.
No, Grisham has the skull that steals people's souls.
It all started when I brought that demon with us.
Do you think our party's able to kill Grisham? Because now I'm worried about everybody who grabs something.
Seinfeld music plays.
It's like
Dun,
exit and rejoin.
dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. Well, if it gets stuck, maybe try and jump out of the chat and then jump back into it. There might be too much jumping around now.
Yeah.
I think if we kill Vic, there's a chance that also the demon might just try and jump into the nearest person as well.
We'll shoot him with a bow. It'd be all right.
Shit, that's a good point.
I don't think I have arrows for that.
Set him on fire. Out of character talk, and Isaac's not saying this. Eldritch blast the shit out of him.
Exactly. Exactly. Now we're thinking.
All right, guys. So it sounds like we're planning some nefarious things for Vic.
No, out of
but-
character, not Isaac.
No, we're convincing not
Precautions.
to do
We're just preparing precautions.
I'm merely suggesting.
Very
Not
well,
Do
very
you
well.
have a
So,
question for Olmec from before he and I left?
did you want to ask separately?
Vic?
Yeah, Vic was just wondering if he can hear what's going
Oh,
on
yeah,
around
yeah.
him, or whether he's like
I answered him
completely
in a text.
unconscious.
I answered him in a text chat.
Okay, gotcha.
I rage and split him in half.
Isaac's spacing out. Isaac's looking at the clouds. He
Just
has
straight
no
up.
idea what's going on.
So Asterion takes Vic's hand and he leads him down towards the village, like towards the rest of the settlement.
Is he just like a
Um,
zombie, essentially?
Yeah, he's just like
He's like
a
catatonic.
comatose. He's like he's like catatonic.
A walking vegetable.
They've roofied our friend.
Did you do this?
Did you do this? As you get closer, you start to see structures. You start to see the village tucked in amongst the forest. It's hard to see like where the village, like where the buildings stop and the plants begin. It appears as though this is a place that's been grown into existence more than built. You see like druids in the distance, or druid furbolgs in the distance, going about their life. You see young furbolgs running around. They keep away from you for now. They look suspicious.
I waved all of them.
They look at you suspiciously. Yep, you just wave.
Yeah, I just waved
Hello.
all of them. Like the parade wave, though. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So not the.
And you see.
No, I was picturing the Tom Hanks on the boat.
as you as you like get closer to the town, a small like wooden bear of some description runs up and like holds onto Asterion's hand, and he goes, "Oh, wooden legs, hello. Say hello to our friends." And the little bear like turns around and just gives like a little shy wave.
Is it
What do we-
standing on
what do
2
we
feet
mean when
or
we
all
say
4?
wooden bear? Like, is it a solid timber bear?
So it's like a well-crafted toy is the best description I could give it to you. It's like a beautifully crafted, like very intricate, with like jointed like arms and legs, and it seems to move smoothly. It sort of like makes like a clacking noise as it like steps. But
2
that's probably
feet
the best way I
or
could describe
2
it.
feet or all 4s?
Yeah, yeah. It sort of totters around on 2 feet.
Ah, I
Moves
wave
a bit
back.
slower. Yeah. No worries. Yep.
Peace. Holding myself back to just like pet it.
I want to
Okay.
high five the bear's wave.
Just waving. You run forward and you make a persuasion check.
Oh my god, I just found the thing. Hang on. It's not a toy, but it's fucking adorable.
You guys.
Oh, nice.
I
This is
breathe in the
huge.
fresh air. I'm like very relieved to be back here in this beautiful place.
Does it feel fresher than the plateau?
Like
Does.
the air, yeah.
I got a nat 20 on my high five persuasion.
Fuck yeah. So you like take a couple steps forward. The bear seems a little bit nervous, but you do like a roll. Like we'll say you do like a little dive roll. You come up and you like do a flurry. You're like, "Hey, how you doing, little fella?" And it's just like, and then you high five and it's like,
Yes, best friends forever.
it seems to be pretty pleased with that. For some reason, you're targeting the whole party, Alex.
We all handshake him.
Me?
Yeah, like
Oh.
you just have in your targeting menu, like the whole party. That's fine. I cleared it.
That's
Isaac
amazing. I
returns
like
the
that.
handshake.
I was trying to draw things on a map and I was just clicking about.
That's really funny. Okay, so you guys get escorted down the path. You like how I can move you all at once? I'm pretty pleased with that.
Yes, yes.
As I said, you see like the furbolgs. You see some Gepettans around as they've been described to you as of yet. So you see like some of them are made of fabric, some are made of like clay. It appears. Some and again they all have like articulating parts, or they're flexible enough because they're made of cloth.
Are we being guided by the guy?
Yep, he's guiding you like through town.
I
Yep.
I ask him how does one have a companion such as that, and I point to his Gepeton.
The Gepetan, they choose both their hosts and their companions. They are quite gentle creatures mostly, but they do take on the traits of those that form them. And he sort of looks sadly at the little bear.
Why so sad?
You wouldn't understand, and I don't feel comfortable sharing just yet.
Touche, my friend. Touche. It's okay.
And so he takes you through. There is eventually quite like a large structure, and you can see it's starting to darken now. Actually, I will say at first he escorts you to his house, which is up here, and he allows you, and he goes, "We can wait here for nightfall, and then we can go and meet the council. Would anyone like a refreshment or anything while we wait?"
You mentioned
Yes,
wine, my friend.
please.
I see you adventurers know how to live it up, as they say.
I consider myself an alcohol connoisseur. But that's not how you say that word, but I know you guys know what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
Yeah.
I want to
Okay.
seat Vic. I want to pull out a seat and kind of like get Vic to sit down. He seems like he's not really in control right now.
We'll say you like you sort of like get a handkerchief out and you mop some saliva off Vic's mouth as it like runs down his face. Um, wait,
I pull out a seat for him, and then I lean up on a wall, arms crossed, and just kind of look at him from time to time.
Okay. Vic just stares blankly. So you guys sit there, and this guy pulls out what appears to be like a colorful liquid in a glass vial. Well, a glass like what's the word I'm looking for?
Bottle.
Yeah, I'll say
Flask.
bottle. It's like not a flagon.
Decanter?
It's not a decanter. That's the one. So he pulls out this decanter and it's got a very colorful, vibrant liquid in it. He pours how many glasses? All of you, if they want one, he puts one in your hand, and he goes, "Cheers to our future relations." And
I
he
raise
sips
my
away at
cup.
his.
Is this alcohol he's
Alright.
serving us?
Indeed.
I
I'm not
raise
anymore.
my cup.
How for my alcoholic self, how good is this like compared to what I normally drink?
So anyone who drinks it, they taste a very sweet, like it almost tastes like a liqueur, and it's like got a sense of like flour, like it tastes like a flower. If you could imagine a drink being a flower, that's what it tastes like. It's sweet, it's like delightful, and it doesn't hit you too hard.
So it's not too strong, basically. It's like a chill kind of
Pretty
drink.
much.
Okay.
Can I
Pretty much.
can I get some of this for the road, friend? This is what you call casual drinking alcohol right here.
Very well. We'll call it a sign of our future relations. And he hands you a more sturdy looking, sort of it's like a travel flask. And he goes, "Here you go."
I was thinking something a little bit bigger, but this will do for now.
So a little bit of time passes. You kind of just hanging out with this dude, and it starts to get dark. He goes, "We ought to leave soon. The council will expect us." And off you go. You come across this large tree essentially that has like a huge double door, and it seems to have been hollowed out. You see like windows and you see lights coming from it, and inside is a similar scene with raised daises. As you come across your second council meeting in less than a week, becoming a thing, guys. This is a much more varied group. Let's find them for you. I really hope that I. Here we go.
How's the other guy reacting to all this? The other council member.
He. That's a good question. He sort of looks a bit dumbfounded by everything. You see him looking around, and he just seems like enthralled by the beautiful scenery. He sort of tries to cut in a few times. He enjoys the wine, but mostly he just kind of follows along.
Make sure you put this in your report.
Could
Oh, wow.
Sobek have ridden
Certainly
in
will.
on his carpet?
You can pull it out and activate it if you want to use it.
I would like to, yes.
No worries.
So that would
you
have been
pull
like
it
at
up.
when we were all drinking. I would have gotten it out and put it on the floor.
Okay, if you put it on the floor, you have to then activate it.
Oh, Lord. It's a whole new world.
Okay, as you do so, your carpet like raises into the air, and you lay upon it, and it starts to move around.
Thank
Can I
you.
try and
Sobek
hop
will
on?
lay like on his side.
You could try to hop on. How much do you both weigh collectively?
I would like fuck all.
Rude.
Norrin's a
You
child.
weigh. Your current weight is 130, Norrin?
Well, myself is 40. And then
Yeah.
I guess all my shit is 130.
I think that it's not the biggest rug. It barely holds Sobek aloft. From what I understand, yeah, it's pretty much just enough. It's got just enough strength to hold Sobek up. So you couldn't jump aboard as well.
Damn.
Well, you
I would
could,
let
but it
you.
would just sit on the ground.
Or No, we'd move really slow because it can carry up to 400 at half its movement.
Okay, cool. So it's moving very slow. All right. So as you enter the council, you see sitting at the various daises, there is a handsome-looking, and I'll just share it again. But there's a handsome guy with like a bow slung across his back. You see, sort of like sitting up at his side, like a jaguar, and he's sort of patting it absently. Sitting at the head of like the table, sitting directly in the middle, there appears to be like a very old furbolg who appears to be like this. He has a bird sitting on his shoulder, and he watches you like a hawk.
Why does everyone have pets?
They're
Because they're
furbolgs.
druids.
Yeah, dude. Get with the
You're gonna like this
program.
next one. So the next person in line is another furbolg who looks a lot younger than the first two, and he's covered in like various pets and like little creatures. You see what appears to be like a little hamster on his arm, and he's just totally distracted by them.
Minsk.
There's a spider on him as
And
well.
my
Did you
little,
guys see that in the
my
image?
little, can my little beard squirrel like poke his head out? Can I go back in?
Sure can. The last member of the council appears to be a young furbolg lady, much younger than the others, and her eyes are like milky. She seems to be sort of staring off into the distance.
I eye Sobek suspiciously and give him a little nudge and say, "Don't get any ideas."
Sobek looks drained, kind of laying on his carpet, just aloof.
Is
No
that?
worries.
Does she actually have a halo? Do we see a halo above her head?
She doesn't have a halo, but she has like a presence about her that is otherworldly and ethereal.
All right. Isaac's kind of more in awe about her than the rest of the group.
Yep. What's up? Yep. Yep. It's hard to find art that when they're not attractive.
Does she actually look like that? Like, is that a
I
pretty
think it's
accurate
valid that
depiction?
she's beautiful though.
Yeah, she has like butterflies like flitting about her, and she has like an ethereal presence. Her eyes are like pure white, and she kind of, as I said, stares up into the distance. As you guys enter and you see these figures ahead of you, Jiren steps forward and he goes, "Oh, hello there! Greetings on the..." And you just see the older Verbolg. He just puts up one finger and says, "Not everyone is yet present. We will wait for the others." And Jiren just sort of looks taken aback, but he's like, "Oh, okay." And meanwhile,
I'm just staring at this girl
see-
the entire time, by the way.
you see that there is actually a fifth council member too. He was a bit shorter than the others, and like after adjusting a little bit, you see that there is a Gepetan of quite an aged look. It looks like an ancient toy, and he's sort of standing up on his little chair, looking. And there is like a custom made chair for him, but he's sort of standing up so he can see down at you guys, and he's just looking curiously. And as you notice him pushing through behind you, there is what appears to be a strange frog-like creature. He has like a headdress on. He's not carrying a drink like he is in this image, but he pushes through, like just shoves you out of the way and just goes, "Now we're all here." He has two retainers as well. There's a more green-looking frog-like creature.
Oh my god, it's a frog!
Yo, Bard Frog.
He runs ahead and he goes, "Now presenting Chief Yorb Yellowskin." And then slinking in behind them is a third member of their party. He sort of slinks up and he's got a bow and he moves quite quietly. You didn't notice him at first, but he
Oh, I
he
thought
sort
the
of
first one was a bird. Is that a frog too?
it is indeed.
Okay.
What's the difference?
We hope you haven't.
What's the
There
bird
you go.
feathers?
We hope you haven't started without us, says the chief. Strings? What do you mean? No. They're a bit bigger than any of the Gepettans you've seen. So the elder of the council says, we would not dream of it. We would not we would not disrespect you in that way. Let me just we would not disrespect the Grong in that way, as much as our diplomatic relations have not been as cordial as they should have been previously. And the chief goes, yes, of course you wouldn't have started without us. We're pretty necessary in these silly council meetings. At that point, Jiren steps up again and goes, well, now that we are all here, perhaps I should introduce myself. I am Jiren Goldentongue, of the Adventure... Well, not of the Adventurers Guild, but of the Council upon the Plateau. And he goes, Zinbala, who you haven't actually learned his name yet, but he goes, very well. I am Zimbala Windspark. This is Miravan Gentrish. This is Adna Elderest. And he gestures to the milky-eyed lady. When he said Miravan, he gestured to, I mean, you've got their names. And Yindalor Springbeam is the newest of our members. Of course, we cannot forget. Hang on, there's lots of names happening right now. Round Ears will speak for the Gepettans in these matters.
So when the head guy introduces Yingalor, can Uther just look him up and down?
Sure. Yindalor doesn't notice you look. He's sort of like talking to his spider. All right. It is good to see you again, Chief Yorb. We shall get started immediately. Now, adventurers, what can you tell us about the threat that you have encountered? Chief Yorb has had dealings, but not all of my brethren have heard the reports yet. Who would like to speak on behalf of you? Jaren seems a little bit chastened to have been kind of dismissed, but would one of you guys like to step up?
Well, Isaac wasn't there for when they attacked the corruption in the woods, so
I push Sobek forward.
probably someone who was there to fight the corruption.
Sobek
I would probably say Naren would probably be the best representation, being from from having a non-outsider speak.
I'll be honest, I was looking at an email, so I'm not entirely sure what the fuck we're talking about. All I know is about some corruption. What are we talking about?
Okay, it's not Norin. No.
We're having somebody to talk to the council on our behalf.
Sobek.
About the goings-on of what's happening around us.
I just shove Sobek
like
forward.
The corruption and stuff.
Like, forcefully. Like, he's...
I give Sobek a thumbs up.
Yeah,
like, you got this.
We're definitely throwing him out to the wolves.
Sobek will ride up on his carpet to one moment, let me pull off the charger.
They
Sobek
sort of look.
graceful.
You get a few looks at your carpet. The chief sort of like jumps back from it, and the blue skin guy, he sort of like pulls out his bow, but then puts it away when he realizes you're no threat. What would you like to say?
How does Ada react?
She's still staring somewhat blankly.
We come on behalf of the Adventurers Guild, lending our aid.
Yes, we understand that. Would you please tell us of the corruption?
It has grown to the north of you. It is growing at a rate far faster than intended or anticipated.
At this point, Chief Yorb says, "Soon it's gonna reach our big tree! We have to stop it before it does!"
Can I use a persuasion and
It could be at any moment.
Yeah, you can try and persuade. I mean, they're already kind of on the same page that this needs to be dealt with. Cool. They're like, I mean, they're still on the same page. We shall plan an expedition into the heart of this corruption. Who will lead it?
Grizz steps up.
I push Norin out there, kind of give Norin like a shove, like,
Sobek will kind of like put his hand, like presenting both of them.
We have many fine adventurers who are willing.
There are not one, but many sources of the corruption, as we have discovered. Each of them resonates from a central node. It would be prudent if we split our efforts and try to address each of the sources of this corruption. Are you adventurers up
Grizz-
for taking some of the load off of our shoulders? Sorry, go Grizz.
Yeah, Grizz is happy to lead an expedition. He indicates his willingness.
Beautiful.
Same with Norin.
Oh, yeah.
And what aid is it that you require from us, adventurers?
As much information beforehand as possible.
What specifically is it that you wish to know?
Well, you said there were nodes that this corruption is emanating from. Do you know how many there are and or their location?
You see, these are moving nodes. They are creatures we refer to as stalkers, and they spread the corruption. They create the infected, and they are quite formidable in battle.
What would you classify these stalkers as? Are they beasts? Are they demons or what?
They are mostly plants, as we can tell, but not the plants that we know. They are much more sinister.
Could you perhaps, Grizz asks if they could perhaps send a member of their, I don't know, town or society or whatever they want to call it, as like a bit of a guide, like preferably some kind of like wisdom, some wise member of their town or some arcane member that could give some kind of advice as we hunt down these stalkers.
We are
If
not
they
much.
have. Yeah, go on.
We do not usually fight as you do. We tend to outlive most threats and restore balance with violence only when very necessary. Some of
It
us,
could just-
though, are more in tune with their chaotic tendencies, and Miravan over there is one that may very well be able to aid you in such a way. Miravan sort of nods, but stays silent.
We kind of need more guidance than anything. Like, even someone we can consult with that wouldn't be like involved in combat necessarily.
Well, if it's information you need, Adna speaks with the spirits. She can offer you much. Upon that, the woman Adna, or the Furbolg Adna, her eyes become like clear for a moment, and she says, "Yes, I can offer you assistance if you need."
So, would she be willing to accompany us, or would we have to come back here to talk to her?
It is not safe for Adna in the woods. If the corruption were to infect her mind, the entire grove would be at risk. And what about the Grung? Would you not offer forces to protect us from the corruption? Do you not have your thralls to protect you? They're useless in a fight. They're mostly just good for carrying things. Very well. We may be able to offer some protections in the form of our magics, and some may be willing to accompany. I will inquire around, but I will I will not force any of my people to fight if they are not willing.
Store steps forward and says, manpower is not the issue, sir. The issue is more we don't know what we're fighting. You say corruption and you say stalkers, but what does that mean? Like, how do we kill it? Is it as simple as walking up, cutting its head off, and then moving on to the next? Or
Inflicting enough damage upon the stalkers has proven adequate. But if we wish to stop the stalkers from being produced, we will need to kill the main cluster. I believe you are aware of the presence of what you refer to as a mind demon. At this point, Jiren perks up and sort of looks nervous. This creature has set in motion a deep, dark evil in our forest, which we cannot abide. Perhaps you may be able to offer us some insight into combating these mind demons, as you refer to them. I believe they are from your region, and he sort of looks at you guys suspiciously. Not that we were able to detect any involvement on your part as you entered.
what you need, my friend, are a thing we called wards.
Indeed, we have seen these wards in your mines. Would you be willing to ward weapons for us?
I am not that man of power. I look at the council member. I'm like, can you offer services such as that?
Jiren steps forward and he goes, "Ah, I can certainly be of assistance. I know of several ward masters who might offer aid in this situation. I will suggest it to the council that someone is sent out to spend a significant amount of time here. I'm sure there would be many who would be very interested to learn from you as well." Zimbala says, "Very well. An exchange of information would be prudent, I suppose. Now, is there anything else that is required? This council is nearly at a close, I believe." Yep.
Tom's got his hand
You
up.
guys said you weren't willing to fight because your people may not want to fight. Do you have any healers who might be able to assist us in staying alive?
A very good question. Some of us will fight, I should say, but it is likely that Chief Yellowskin will need most of those. "You're damn right I will!" But I think we may be able to provide you with healers of some description. Perhaps young Yingolor would be able to accompany you. He's quite a talented healer. He looks up and he goes, What was that?
Would you be
Yingolor.
willing to help us in healing our party as we go ahead? You look very capable.
He sort of he's still petting the spider on his arm, but he goes, yeah, I suppose I could, yeah. Well, it is decided then. That concludes the section. Yep.
Store steps up and he says, how is there an easier way to travel to here besides let's go through the veil every time, then walk to here. Perhaps a quicker method of transportation, so we don't have to have such long journeys in case we need to rush information to you.
We cannot offer you easy access to our grove as you suggest, but we may be able to make our portal take you home.
Not even a messenger pigeon?
Well,
Beat me to it, damn it.
we certainly could establish lines of communication in such a form if you so choose.
I mean, I'm just looking at worst case scenario, it gets out of hand and we need to let you guys know, and if we can't, that's bad for
He
everybody.
he sort of you see him like whistle, and this creature sort of emerges from out of sight. I'll bring it up. Looks like one of these.
Hmm.
It lands upon his shoulder, and you see him whispering to it, and he goes, Travelor has agreed to act as a intermediary in these proceedings. He and his brethren will be available to you. I assume one of you speaks with creatures?
Yes.
Very well.
Yes.
Vic, you're back.
Ethan wanted to talk now. Ethan wanted to talk?
Uh,
Yeah. So I was gonna say, so Uther steps up and says, about our comrade Vic. You mentioned that you were able to help him with his demon problem.
Yes,
Is that something that you can help?
I thought that would be best spoken of once Chief Yorb has departed. And Chief Yorb at this point perks up and says, Demon problem? What the hell kind of shit you doing in here? And she's like, that will be all, Chief Yorb. It is none of your concern. You will receive your reinforcements when we are able, and you will not be left undefended. Very well. And Chief Yorb collects his ranger and starts walking away.
I try to give him a high five on the way out.
You try to high five Chief Yorb.
Yeah.
He looks up at you and just, in disgust, just says, You ought to be one of my thralls. Why would I want to touch you?
All right, be gone, little man.
At this point, last to leave is the frog who's carrying a guitar, and he goes, Now departed, Chief Yorb! And he just like plays a little ditty on his way out. And they leave your sight. So at this point, Zimbalar says, Adna, I believe you are best to lead this conversation. Adna, like, her eyes start to become more, like, present, and she says, Yes, I have spoken at length with the spirits of our ancestors on this matter. I believe that I can contact the imprisoned Vic, I believe his name is, and he will be given a choice. The choice is, if we try to remove the creature, he will have a good chance of perishing in the efforts. Whereas, if we transfer him, and I'm not sure if you know about Gepettans and how they are formed. At this point, Warden Ear gives a nod of like assent, as though he is granting permission for whatever it is she's intending to say. But a Gepettan is... a Gepettan is a... Shut up, Uther. Mute yourself if you're gonna laugh into the mic. Gepettans are a bond an agreement between one of our wisps and at this point, like, you see her um, gesture, and a like glowing orb kind of enters the tree and sort of playfully like dances around her, and she sort of like touches it, and it like lights up more brightly and then dims, and it sort of just hovers around her. It is a bond between a wisp and a soul, mostly of one departed. The bond allows a permanent residence in one of our chosen vessels, and she pulls from below her like a beautifully crafted like cloth. It's like a teddy bear essentially, but it looks bigger and more elaborate than a normal like teddy bear. It's like clearly been made by a very skilled craftsman, and she goes, "If the wisp chooses to be amenable, the other option for your companion would be that he bonds with it and leaves his mortal body behind. Are you happy for us to make this offer to young Vic?"
I
Hello?
think we should just tell him to remove the demon,
Yeah.
guys. What do you think? I think that's what we're gonna do.
Well, I think
Can
it's up to Vic's decision. I think by his
Vic,
camera,
you there?
he is
Nope,
Ooh,
he's not there.
Yeah, he
Vic,
already
we
sounds
can't hear you,
like
Vic.
it.
You
Yeah,
sound
there?
like some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
We're
That's
hearing
He's
like
squeaking.
scratching noises.
That's the demon.
Yeah, I say that's his mind right now.
can the demon not be bonded with a Gepetan of low standard instead?
A Gepetan
I
is a
mean,
bond
that's
of
still
two
gonna be a
spirits,
corporeal demon.
and no wisp is likely to choose an evil spirit. It is not in their nature. They are nature spirits of a good and kind disposition. They would not allow that sort of bond.
So what will happen to it?
The demon?
Yeah, the demon that's in Vic.
We will take care of it. It will certainly perish.
When you say perish, you mean perish forever, correct? I just don't want anything bad to happen to my friend Vic here.
If Vic chooses to become a Gepetan, he will be safe. The risk is minimal, but if he chooses to have the demon excised from him, the risk will be high.
The problem is he can't choose. We need to do a vote.
No, I think she can communicate with
He
his soul.
can. The Great Ones can communicate with your young Vic. We simply ask your permission first.
Yes.
We
I'm
just
sure
leave it
that's
up
what
to
Vic
Vic.
would want.
Do
Yeah,
do
well,
all you can, my
she's
lady.
asking our permission in order to ask him
Very well.
what his decision will be.
I will enter his mind and confirm his choice.
Just be gentle. He's he's had a rough life.
It may not be a gentle process. And she walks over to Vic. She reaches forward and her hand glows, and her palm sort of glows with a silvery light. And she touches and she puts her hand like upon Vic's head, and you see her eyes glaze over. Okay, so you feel a presence. You've been watching all the proceedings, so you know what's going on. And she says, "Oh, dude, your mic is messed up." Yeah, I'm just hearing like. I'm not sure. Maybe close Discord entirely. Maybe check your mic input settings or something. Yeah, no, like seriously, man, it's still just like a. Maybe it's like a loose connection, or your internet connection's fine. Nah, still no, dude. Maybe I'll. Hey, there we go, dude. Finally got you. So, you have heard the proposition. Do you want to speak to Baal? As she reinstates like some level of control in your mind, she like there is you can tell that there's the potential there, but she's also she's inquiring and she's awaiting an answer. What do you want? It sounds as though you've decided to destroy me. I am to become being held so weak. You have betrayed me once before. Why would I trust you now? They will destroy me either way, will they not? You seek to take on the body of that toy? So you think that we could share a consciousness in this new creature? Well, it doesn't appear I have much choice, does it? You wish to destroy someone? Of course I am amenable with that. Oh, if there is souls in it, I am much amenable to this. You must deceive that one, though. And you feel him, like, almost mentally gesture to Adana, who is waiting. Adna. At this point, you hear her, like, almost like a mental, Vic, are you there? You and the demon? Balthazar is his name, just so you know. you feel this fiend can be bargained with? Isn't that what got you into the trouble in the first place? Shh. Sorry, my dog's being a bitch. Not so. I can hear you. No, we find the process distasteful. That is why our dealings with the Grong are so tense. We feel life should be free. It appears you have some convincing to do with our friend, and you feel like another presence. It's like it's a playful. You can get a sense of like the mental uh impact it gives, and it's like a playful, like joyful entity. It's really innocent. It you identify it as like the wisp with which you'd be bonding. Will we make people free? Would we help those who cannot help themselves? That's all right. You feel the wisp only has one more question. Would we have fun? And you hear like a giggling. We must play. We would explore the world. We would see it all. I am willing to play. This one seems fun when my other options are imprisonment or destruction. Okay. I accept. And you feel like just from you can feel that it would just take now you reaching out and Bal reaching out with your mental command. and you feel like the touch as he takes hold. It feels like a taloned. It feels like a talon essentially. You feel like it digging into your like spiritual flesh. I can't wait. And you feel like a whirlwind of spiritual energy. And I'll go back and describe in the form of everyone else, right?
Like a sudden burst of knowledge, like someone says something to
Yeah.
you and phrases it in a certain way, and your mind just like clicks and everything just lines up and like, oh, it's like,
That's true.
oh, man.
Yeah, everything unlocks. Yeah, you're right. It all lines up. That's a really good way to word it.
All right, guys. So you see Adna step back. Uh, you see the glowing wisp that was floating around her. It enters the body of the Gepetan, the wooden creature that was. It will say it's about 3 feet tall, and it's got like wooden joints. We can describe it more later, but leaving Vic's body, you see a blue glowing energy that becomes like this ethereal cloud in the ether, and as it heads towards the Gepetan, you also see a glowing red energy, like a mist of a much greater, large red mist, which also heads towards the Gepetan. And the three wisps, the three like glowing forms of energy, they enter the like the wooden bear creature, and you see it start to glow. Upon glowing, it you see one of its eyes glow in like a blue color, and the other glow a red, and it steps up, and it sort of brushes itself off, and it looks around and says,
Vic?
"Let's play." Actually, what does it say? What does it say after that? I should say.
I grab my
Isaac
axe.
is bewildered.
As you grab your axe, Adna says, "Hold. I know it seems unorthodox," and she looks up to Zinbala, who he's also like, you see his hand become that of a bear, and he stood and he looks like ready to jump in and fight. But Adna puts a hand up to him and puts a hand up to you, Store, and says, "It appears that they have come to an accord. They will carry the shadow of darkness within them, but they will use it only to destroy those who oppress people."
What about the demon? Is the demon in that body as well? Does your doll say that? So Isaac unsheaths his blade and points it at the Gepetan.
Yeah, I'm right there with Isaac.
Don't try anything funny. You're lucky our friend is in your body, or else I would slice you right now. Vic, if you can hear me, control that demon friend of yours. I'll smite both of you if I have to. Isaac's eyes kind of glow with like a faint like paladin rage as he like sheaths his weapon. Kind of
I
keeping a close eye on Vic from that point.
I look at Adna and I say, how safe is it to keep him around with the demon inside of him?
Look, I have spoken to the great ones, the elders, and with the soul that Vic started, there is enough good with the help of the wisp, to hold any evil at bay. He is true of heart, and his intentions were noble, despite his corruption. We, uh, we feel he will truly make the world a better place.
Okay, so
And
as
then
poker face, the
she glances down at Vic doing this, and she says, hmm, if if he doesn't, mayhaps take this, and she offers you what appears to be like a magical gem of some description, and she goes,
can
this
I
will help him have timeouts when
can I
needed.
accept that? Like, cause he's like kind of looking at me.
I'd
Vic
say
was like kind of targeting me.
who's she reaching out to?
She gives it to Isaac, who seems to be most yeah. And
So
so and she explains to you that this will stop him in his tracks if he starts to act out. He is a young spirit, only a few minutes old, really. He is new and must be taught and must learn. The wisp in him will be very naive. Yep.
can does Isaac see the black eyes? Does he notice? Okay, so Isaac's eyebrows are furrowed. He kind of has like a straight mouth, but you can see there's like visible hatred on his face. Like you remind him of everything he hates. But
No
he stays
worries.
silent. He kind
I,
of holds his blade because of who you once were.
I asked, is it more of a timeout or a permanent like goodbye?
This is a
Silence,
good
stall. I'll smite
this
you
seems a
right
good
now.
learning this seems a good learning experience, she says. She steps up, she takes the gem and she says, sleep. And the all like this cloud pours out of the bear's mouth, and it like shoots up into the sky, and it gets sucked into the crystal, and the bear sort of falls and collapses. And
Can
she
So
I
I
get
can
goes,
one?
command it out of character. Like I can give a command to the amulet just or the gem just in case the doll needs to get managed. I can say like
correct.
sleep or
Yep.
freeze. Okay.
She says, sleep is the command, and when you ask it to wake, and you see all the cloud shoot out again, and it reanimates the body.
All right. Can you add that gem to my inventory?
I sure will.
Real quick, can Sobek
Yep,
look to Isaac and kind of have a quick little side to side with that? But like he's kind of talking in his ear beside him.
yep. What we
Uh,
might do is this could be a good place to like leave it. We could finish the session with you two like having a chat. Unless anyone else wanted to like speak up because it's already dragged on a lot.
True.
Yeah,
So
can like Uther talk to the chief dude?
okay.
Can't
Is
remember his
anyone
name.
if anyone wants to like yeah, sorry. You guys who wants to speak to people? You gonna try and catch up to Yorb?
Oh no,
Is
I
that what you
thought
said?
that's what I meant.
Oh no, Uther meant talk to Zinbalar, I believe, right?
The head furball dude,
Yeah,
whoever that is.
Zinbalar.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
all right. We'll have that chat at the. We can have that chat now. Sobek
Yeah.
and
What?
no, Sobek and Isaac wanted to chat quickly. I think is
Okay,
that right?
I'll see you in Chaos Delvers Sobek.
We'll say that you two can have a private aside. I don't need to be in there for that.
okay.
Yeah. And Uther, you wanted to speak to the chief?
Yeah. So Uther goes over to the chief and offers his services to the village. Yeah, he offers his services, says, I'm probably willing to stick around and help you in any way that I can in order to learn. the druid ways from you, and in exchange, I can share all the knowledge that I have about demons and my experiences fighting them in the demon wars. Yeah.
Very well. You may stay with us for now. We would appreciate the opportunity to learn about the demons, and any knowledge you glean whilst you're with us is okay by us.
Thank you.
I have one more. I have just a simple question. You can answer the yes or no.
Yep.
I wish Sobek was here for this. I look at Sobek and I say, "So, can you fix his eye?"
Hmm.
It was an adventuring accident, and he's not quite full power, but I think it would mean a lot to him to have his eye back.
Zimbala looks at Yingalor and he nods. And we'll wait till Sobek's done. Oh, Vic wants to talk. Vic, what do you want to say? We'll resolve that when Sobek comes back. What's up, Vic? You have been returned to your automaton, just so you're aware.
He's standing right next to you. Do you know that, right?
Adna says, "You must temper your manners, young one. You have not even a name yet, and you already seek to have enemies."
Sobek, I'm looking out for you, by the way.
We know all. We know all, Vic. We know exactly what Sobek is. And she glances at him. Yep. I'm telling you that we are aware of his situation. And he may still be valuable to us. Good, young one. It seems you are capable of learning. We must give people second chances. Surely you, of all people, must understand that. And at this point, so Sobek, you were sort of talking to Isaac and you missed this happening, but Zimbalar has nodded to Maravan upon a request from Store, and no, sorry, not to Maravan, Zimbalar nodded to Yingalor. Their names confusing me. And Yingalor hops down from the dais. He sort of he stands and becomes a squirrel, scurries down, and turns back into a furbolg in front of you. At this point, he sort of reaches towards you. And are you trying to resist? You try and bat his hand away?
Yeah, like, what are you doing? Like, what the hell?
He goes, just quiet, and he keeps trying to reach towards you. Hold
Yeah,
still.
Sobek has the carpet in full reverse. Like, that carpet's flying back.
Sobek, he's trying to give you your eye back.
Oh, okay, Sobek, he'll like creep back up with the carpet. Like, all right, buddy. And just
Yingalo hardly notices. He just keeps walking towards you and he grabs your head and you see a glowing light in his palm, and he's going to make a check here.
I'm sorry if it fails.
Okay, so you feel pain start to pulse from behind your eye patch, and you feel glowing, burning pain as your eye starts to like refill the socket, and eventually, after about 5 minutes of excruciating pain, you can see again out of your eye, and it is completely healed.
Sobek will like take both of his hands onto Ingalor's and just like bow, just thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. And he turns into like a bird and flies back up to the dais, and sort of lounges when he turns back into a furball. All right, this could be a good place to leave it if you guys want.
Yeah.
Wait, before you finish up, before the council meeting disbands, or while it's disbanding, Uther's gonna shoot his shot with Yingalor.
No worries. You can
Literally or figuratively?
Uthar's a guy.
What's
Yeah,
your
he's
point?
pansexual. Anything goes with Uther. He's pansexual.
Okay, so you sort of like slide up into Yinglor's DMs, and you try to make a move. Make a persuasion check for me.
Wait, can I do it in Fantasy Ground? How do I do it? Well, how do
I
you
can
get
do
a
it.
dice tower? Where's the dice tower?
Down like the
There's a
bottom right.
dice tower.
Bottom right hand corner.
Oh my goodness.
Help me.
Yeah, shoot your shot, Uthar.
Bottom right hand corner.
Oh, there it is. I had all the photos like covering it all up.
Cool story, Han
What am I
Solo.
doing? Persuasion.
Yeah.
That one? Over there? Over there? Oh no, now I'm scared.
I feel. Yeah.
Yeah, he threw one at my head yesterday.
All right. So, Uther sort of, upon observing Yinglor's behavior throughout the meeting,
Show you my squirrel that you show me yours?
that's exactly where I was going with this. He he sort of Uther presents this small friend that he has living in his beard, and Yinglor, previously kind of absent-minded about all of this, focuses in on Uther and like looks from this adorable squirrel up to Uther's face and goes, "Hmm, he's cute. So are you."
I wanna. Yeah.
This is like middle
Wanna-
school
wanna get a-
relationship.
Want to get a drink sometime? I'm gonna be around for a while.
He looks around and he goes, "Well, I think we're done here. Let's go now." And he sort of he leaps over the dais and like sort of takes you by the arm and just leads you off.
Yeah.
And that might be a good place to leave it, guys.
Oh, that's canon.
Uther's gonna get some.